Welcome back to Fox 4 News at noon. We thank you for joining us today. Now, you can catch the latest on the president's visit to Central Texas today on fox4news.com and the Fox Local app. Our coverage continues at 1 o'clock with Steve Eager and Sean Rabb anchoring the coverage. You can download the app for free at the App Store. Thank you again for watching.
Hello and good afternoon. Today marks 1 week since the devastating and deadly flooding in the Hill Country. I'm Steve Eager. We're here to continue the coverage.
Yeah, I'm Sean Rabb, and President Trump is in Texas to see for himself what the flood left behind. He's accompanied by the First Lady and other Texas lawmakers meeting with first responders.
President is on the ground, got on Marine One. Among those accompanying the president on the Texas visit from Washington, Texas Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, along with U.S. Congressman Pete Sessions. That's a lie. That's where they were. Yeah,
that's where the roundtable is going to take place.
That's about an hour and 15 minutes, I think they've got scheduled. There's going to be a lot of people who want to talk about their needs, their challenges, and what Washington can do for them right now in this emergency. And so that's where hopefully the stuff gets done that needs to get done.
Certainly we're going to hear a lot from folk in that region who've grown up there, lived there, and have been helping people all week.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a long time.
Yeah, it's a short visit for the president. It looks like the total time from landing, he's already landed, to take off is about 3 hours?
Yeah, three and a half hours or so. So a short visit.
It is a short. He can get done. He don't need, actually, it's good that he comes here. He supports people. He likes the people. And so it's good to do that and to hear from the people as well. But he can get stuff done on Air Force One. I mean, they can take care of it.
And his timing is good now. He talked about coming earlier in the week, but decided not to. So 7 days later, last Friday it began. Now the president and First Lady come. Makes sense. Have that round table, and hopefully people get some reassurance there. You know, search efforts for the dozens believed missing continue, Steve, in Central Texas. 1 week now, again, after the devastating flooding in the area began. 120 are dead in the Hill Country. Kerr County is the epicenter, 96 dead there, and there are still over 160 people missing. Again, President Trump and First Lady Melania are expected to look over the flood damage from the helicopter, no doubt.
Yes.
Meeting with first responders and local officials and families, as we've been talking about. Now, earlier this week, the president approved Governor Greg Abbott's major disaster declaration for Kerr County. Mr. Trump promised to provide the state with whatever it needs to recover.
It's a horrible thing, a horrible thing. Nobody can even believe it, such a thing. That much water that fast. Without a dam break, you'd think a dam would have to break to have it. So it's a terrible thing, but we're going to be there with some of the great families and others, the governor, everybody.
Now, earlier this week, Governor Greg Abbott promised that search efforts will not stop until all of the missing have been identified.
All right, I believe this afternoon we are looking back. That was President getting on Air Force One, right? Do we have his helicopter touching down in Texas, or should we wait?
Don't think we have that.
We don't have that yet?
Yeah.
All right, so this afternoon we're looking back at some of the very personal stories we've been telling you about week long.
Right.
And more things have been kind of happening and being discovered, the heroism and things like that. I believe we might have the video coming on the air. There it is.
There it is.
That's Air Force One.
At Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio.
San Antonio, yes.
Yes.
And he got on the helicopter there. There were two of them there, Marine One and Marine Two, presumably. Right. And they are now, I believe, last shot I saw, they were on the helicopter. I didn't see them wheels up.
Okay.
But I assume they are since then. And I guess they'll do the flyover. That's the next step, and talk about that. And what's interesting, Sean, is when Governor Abbott gets a minute with it, about all they get, really, because it goes pretty quick. They'll have this roundtable. They want to hear from people. About the most important time is maybe on that helicopter flight.
Right.
Here's what we're doing. Here's what we need. This is ASA. We need this priority one. This is what we need.
That's when you can hear his ear.
You got 4 minutes to get that out and get it done, and it goes fast.
Yeah. But, and there'll be some fast talking because there's a lot that we need. Yep. There's a lot that the state needs to make this happen for the folks there in Kerr County and the Hunt area, that area around Hunt, Texas. as well. You were talking about the stories, Steve. There was so many stories this week as we look at the images there.
Looks like President and First Lady side by side, it looks like, which is a nice touch.
So still on the ground there, it looks like that's live. I don't know if that's turned around or live.
I think that's edited.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we've been talking about the various stories, and there have been so many gut-wrenching, heartbreaking stories. One, though, a Texas father in the last minutes, aware of what's happening in his life now. Final moments, he and his wife caught in the flood.
Yeah. They call the kids, right?
Calls his kids and leaves them voicemails as they're being swept away.
Looks
Calls
like
his
we're
son
not
and
going to
daughter.
make it out, or whatever that was.
Right. What a message. Wow, what a call. And Fox 4's Lori Brown talked to the son. Let's see.
We had so many good times in that camper.
Jake Ramsey, 24 years old, and his sister Rachel, 23, never could have imagined the tragic turn a 4th of July getaway would take for their dad and his wife, Tanya.
They were definitely in the camper when it was swept away. But I mean, 26 feet and 45 minutes, it's just truly, one of the most horrific disasters you can imagine.
Once Jeff Ramsey realized it was too late for him and Tanya, he called his son and then his daughter to say goodbye.
And he left us both voicemails just saying, basically, hey buddy, I love you so much. I think this is it for us. Tell Rachie I love her. I went and listened to that message and it broke me. Hers came after mine, and it was when they were already heading downstream. And so you could hear the panic, and it was just heartbreaking. We'll never listen to those messages again.
Tanya was a breast cancer survivor who was 1 year cancer-free. Before Jeff made those calls, he called Tanya's brother, who was also camping nearby.
Thank the Lord he called Tanya's brother, because otherwise they would have probably slept in and been swept away in the flood as well.
Tanya's body has been identified. The search is continuing for Jeff. The Ramseys believe they found parts of the camper.
The frame's bent and just obliterated.
Jake logged on to see any text messages on his dad's phone. Turns out the warning message from the RV park went out at 4:49 in the morning.
He was currently saying his goodbyes to me and my sister whenever that happens.
How frustrated are you that the evacuation message came too late?
I was a bit frustrated at first, but honestly, I'm a big believer that, my dad always said God has great plans for you. That was his one-liner, and God calls us to trust him no matter how terrible things may get.
One bright moment, finding Jeff's dog, Chloe.
She's a little distraught, but she's getting back into the swing of things.
The Whippet was turned into an animal shelter where she was identified by her microchip.
Everyone said the same thing. They said Jeff must have given her one last oomph out of the water, and that's probably how she made it.
A lesson Jack thinks his dad would want everyone to take away. Bad stuff happens, so
treat every day like it's your last, and that's something that he did, and so I'm so grateful that he had such a great heart.
I try not to get frustrated when they, get the message at 4:49.
4:49.
Too late, too little, too late. And I was thinking, driving to work this morning, it's just like, I get that blaring child
Alerts.
predator alert type of thing when a
Amber alert.
like blares all. It wakes everybody up. We got to find more access to those kind of messages. I heard they're talking about they received a Facebook message. Well, 4 in the morning.
There's going to be a lot of talk about that.
But this young man to be able to talk like that with the respect and love that he has for his parents is
And the hope
pretty cool.
that he expressed.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if I'd be able to do it, but
It's hard, and so quickly, the days after this event, it's hard. The suddenness of it, I think, is really what shook people.
Okay, so here you see President Trump talking with first responders from Texas and Governor Abbott on his right, and the First Lady on Governor Abbott's right. It looks like they're looking at maps, terrain, the terrain of the thing. This is recorded. This is not live, and somebody's explaining probably what they're going to see in the flyover, maybe, or something like that to that effect, because it looks like the whole river map.
Yeah, definitely in the flood zone right there at Kerr County. Now on the ground there. There's, of course, Doyle Rice, the city manager for Kerrville, on the right, talking with the president. Likely explaining the flow of the river and how it all happened.
and maybe other areas they're going to see when they get in the air. Yeah, it is. I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like that. I never have. You know, and I remember my hometown flooded out, knocked out a bridge. You know, but man, the wall of water was so strange to see. You just see this wall of water starting, and then there was really, it was just incredible. And so a lot of these folks out here are going to tell the president what they saw, what they experienced, and you know. And
What's
I don't know
left?
what he can take care of. I really don't. I don't know what he can take care of. But if it can be taken care of, I guess that's the man to do it.
And well, presence is comfort, and so just his
Absolutely.
being there is comforting
Respect
to
you
these
know,
folk. Yeah,
some respect.
absolutely.
That's a police department guy. I
Yes.
believe. I'm not sure if that's
I don't.
Kerrville police chief, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like Kerrville police, not the sheriff.
No, we've seen him.
Yeah.
He's been on TV a lot. That's not him. Those might be sheriff's deputies. It's a tough day. It's a tough day for everybody, I assume. Even I don't know. The president may have enough on his mind that things he needs to get done, but once he starts hearing about all the children lost and their challenges and the scary moments, and
Yeah, so it's so different when you're there in the middle of it than seeing it on
from
monitors,
DC,
TVs.
on CNN or Fox
Right.
News, or yeah, it's a lot different.
Even from here,
Oh,
it's so different. As horrible as the images are, to experience it in person and the smells and the destruction is it's real to you when you're standing there looking at tennis shoes in a tree, you know, an RV wrapped in debris, cars floating upside down. It's real. It's so real to you.
Did you see the video? And I don't know, we'll probably see it throughout the day today. Did you see the video of that truck that was essentially buried sideways?
Yes.
And all you saw is the tires, basically.
Yes.
The strength of that. That's when you kind of get it. Even if you don't get it, you get that. It's like, what does it take to do that?
That's the force of nature. And water is the most powerful natural force that we have in the earth.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Flows where it flows.
Yeah. And it stood up angrily 27 feet rising in about 45 minutes. That's incredible. I think they're showing him where the camp perhaps was, where those kids were, 36 children.
Yeah, I do think you mentioned it's for the families who've lost loved ones. I do think it's, I don't know if I have the right word, maybe proud that the president is here to grieve with them. You know, they are grieving, and that's a form of respect for them and their loss and understanding.
And
what
it says,
they're
I
going through.
care.
Right, yeah.
More than anything else, I care. To have the president touch you, put his arm around you in this moment, just to listen to you, makes you feel kind of special, kind of unique, even in this moment
Right.
of horrific tragedy.
And we've been around a few presidents, and they're really, that's one of their most important jobs, right?
And in many ways, the most
Comforting
difficult.
people.
Yeah. I mean, if they're a compassionate person, if they have a feeling for people, it's heartbreaking to see the tears and hear the stories. Yeah.
All right, so we're live streaming on the app and on our website, and we're going to be here for as
Several
long as it
hours,
takes.
yeah.
Several hours, and so we're going to follow the president's movements, and we just want to give you an update on how we're doing, and it's going to be kind of relaxed.
Very
We'll
much
try
so.
to keep it relaxed for you, and
Hope you'll stay with us.
yeah, just keep it here. We're not. There's no real commercial breaks. We just see what we see and pass that along to you, and try to give you all the information we can. So that's the life in streaming now. We don't have to run commercials. We don't do any of that. It's a more relaxed format, and we hope you get something out of it and get to see more than you normally would.
Yeah. This is a good moment, though. His first moments on the ground there.
All right, so we've seen this. I think we've looped it once. It's a video, and we've seen it repeat once. So we're gonna We're going to keep an eye on what's being fed to us of the President's
Bring it
First
to you.
Lady's movements. That's the latest, and you've seen it now probably a couple times, so we're going to move on from that and get some other coverage. But the President's visit is the main focus of why we're doing this broadcast. So in the meantime, we do know that you have probably been faced with having to talk to your children about what happened, if they've heard stories at school, or I guess they're out of school now, but from their friends, and maybe reassure them that they are, in fact, still safe. Steve Noviello spoke with a licensed therapist on how you can start. If you haven't had that tough talk, Steve Noviello with how you can start it.
When events like disasters happen, it is a time of emotion and a time of grief for a lot of people. A lot of families now faced with the task of talking to their young children about what has happened. Annie Tam, a licensed professional counselor with Mend Counseling, joining me this morning. This is just heartbreaking for so many families. We are having this conversation in our house. I know a lot of my friends and neighbors are as well. I want to start with the idea of trauma therapy specifically. Is it important that I find somebody, if I need that kind of outside help, who has a specialty?
I do think it is important to find a trauma-informed therapist, or at least a group practice that has those therapists there in the practice itself. They can see a play therapist. They can also maybe see a different therapist for something like EMDR therapy to deal with the trauma. But finding someone who is trauma-informed and educated in that is going to be important during this time with such a devastating traumatic event.
So I think the overwhelming majority of our viewers are going to be having this conversation at home. So I want to kind of break this up into two different parts here. One, what does this conversation look like when I'm dealing with a child who's maybe 10 years old and younger?
Yeah, so I think specific concrete language is going to be really important with your child. We tend to want to kind of soften it, use euphemisms, and this can be really difficult for a child to understand, especially a younger child. So making sure that we're using very concrete language with them, like, Sally, I have to talk to you about something traumatic that has happened. It's really hard. Sally has died. Using that language. They might ask about death, and telling them that death means that Sally is not coming back. She doesn't breathe. She can't eat any longer.
Right.
It's really hard for a parent to use that language and to say these kinds of things, especially when we're grieving ourselves. However, it's so important for a child's understanding. As they get older, 5 to 10 age, they're going to understand the concept of death a little bit more, and we know our children, right? So I think letting them lead is very important when it comes to these conversations.
Two of the things that you just mentioned, which I really love, one is kind of the mirroring of emotion, letting your child know, hey, like, Daddy is really sad about this, and I know you are too, like giving them that kind of open door to be able to say, there's a bit of identification. And the other thing that you just mentioned in terms of the language that we are using, I would imagine the language that we're not using is just as important, like, oh, we lost somebody, or, because in a child's mind, I would imagine, well, go find them. I lost my bunny, and you found my bunny, so can't Daddy go find them? And I know a lot of people, when they're turning to their faith, they may say to a child, such and such went to live in heaven. I mean, should I be careful about using words like that, like live and lost?
Yes, I would be careful with that. Children really don't understand, like you said, like, I lost my bunny, and then you found it, right? So if we say we lost Sally, they're going to think that maybe they can come back, and they're going to have more and more questions around that. I think, something we need to really remember is that grieving is a process. It is a process. We don't need to have all of the answers. I think so many parents they feel, like they have to have all the answers right now, and we want to jump to action, and we want to jump in there. We want to fix things. We want our child to not hurt and not be in pain. And so remembering that grief is a process, it's going to take a lot of time. You mentioned religion, so that could come up. I think that again is going to be a process. I think sticking to simple truths is really important with your children, and I think it's also very important to just say, I don't have all of the answers.
So this is the toughest conversation these young parents, 30s to early 40s, likely are having to have with their children, especially those who were at the camp, those who survived. But one thing that's important, and Congressman Chip Roy shared this story about the girls who had been evacuated. They're on the school bus going back to Camp Mystic, and they're looking at the damage and what has happened, and they are singing hymns.
Faith works for some people. Absolutely.
And it's a faith camp. Yeah. It's a Christian-based camp.
Sure is.
They have this faith. They believe. And
a lot of people, I should say.
For those who have faith, this is when you draw on it. You know, these parents, we've seen these parents. The only way some of these parents can stand up is because they are believing. We've heard them talk about we'll see them again, the reunification at another point. And it's important for people to exercise faith in moments like this for those who are believers. And these girls, many of these children are.
I would not go in a different direction. I would just say, if people are doing that, let them do it. It's what you feel compelled to do. I don't know if that she didn't really take it up on the faith thing, but it's like, if you're compelled and that's how your family operates, absolutely do that. And if you're not comfortable with somebody else doing it, move along. Right? Move along. That does help. That does help a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes them have meaning.
Absolutely.
More than help. Allows their lives to have
hope.
Meaning.
Hope beyond this moment.
I'll see them again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We do take a break.
We are going to take a break.
All right. Very good. So this is the group waiting for the president, and
for the round table.
The round table is going to begin in this room.
Yeah.
Leaders from Washington, as you can see, are in town now.
There'll be a lot of voices there, a lot of folks from Washington, a lot of folk, of course, from our state, and from, of course, Kerr County, the epicenter of this. And they've been waiting, obviously very interested to hear what the president and others will say today.
All right, popping back into that round table meeting, those look like local responders. We saw just before we went to break, and we kind of panned away. Dan Crenshaw was talking. That's a Texas congressman, talking with Brandon Gill, representative from Flower Mound, Texas congressman. They were off, if you're looking at the TV, they were off kind of to the left, off the left side of your screen. But they're all waiting for the big arrival of the President, First Lady, and Governor Abbott and the other dignitaries that have been on the ground. Is this a live picture? Just more video. This is more video.
This is also that tape payback of him talking with citizens there. While they have a chance, they're sharing their stories.
I imagine it's an incredible scene. The only thing I have never been in a flood where the stuff is stacked, 30 feet above their heads, caught in the trees and stuff like that. But I remember covering like when the A&M bonfire collapsed. That's just a huge mound of wood, and you think, oh my gosh, this came down on people. Or this, looking at the screen, this came through people's homes.
Yeah.
And just nothing to stop it.
And when something like this happens, a lot of things are destroyed, are lost. Some of it is priceless, Steve. I'm not talking about furniture and clothing, but artifacts, priceless heirlooms, things passed down through family that mean so much that you can't put a monetary value on. Yes.
You can find a picture too. I mean, because where do you keep all your memento? Where do you keep everything you own?
Yeah,
in your
house.
And a river washes your house away and runs through it. What do you have left?
Right.
You settle for a little picture somewhere.
And if there's a picture, if there's an heirloom from a grandparent that's been passed down that you can get back, that means a lot. It means so much. It's an intangible in terms of putting a dollar amount on it, but its value to you is priceless. And we're seeing some of that. There's one group, right, that's been out. Their whole purpose is to collect those kinds of things. It's been wonderful to put people back in touch with those things that mean so very much to them. And one woman particularly focuses on reconnecting people with those priceless items that we've been talking about.
Yeah, Facebook, by way of Facebook, which is great. Found on the Guadalupe River is what she's calling it, and that's how people can find it. Here's Alex Boyer.
As the floodwaters in the Guadalupe River begin to recede in the Texas Hill Country, some sentimental treasures are starting to surface.
But I want to believe that they'll all be reunited with who they belong to.
Dondi Person is a perfumer by trade, but these days she's become a matchmaker of sorts.
Look at that.
Wow. Daddy's little man.
We found this in Center Point.
With help from her community, Person has been collecting and cleaning personal items found washed up on the banks of the Guadalupe River. This bin holds just a small fraction of what's been refurbished.
These are items that we found, that we've recovered, and our members at Rosewood have washed them. They've labeled what they are, dried them, and we're just trying to preserve them. So where we found them, what type they are, they have a little prayer card in them.
With the items piling up, Person decided to start a Facebook group called Found on the Guadalupe River, posting pictures of the items. Others started doing the same. And in just a few days, some 3,000 people have joined the group, and Person has already had some reunions.
The lady that I was able to reunite some of her items yesterday, she said, I've lost everything, but now I have these few things back. It really meant the world to her. So,
what was that moment like for you, Dondi?
Oh, it was really, it was heartwarming, but also bittersweet because, she's lost everything and she has to rebuild.
Is that kind of moment meaningful enough to kind of keep this pace going?
Yes. Well, yeah, any win is a win.
And with plenty of items still left to be cleaned and reclaimed, Person remains on the move.
And I just know that people are looking for some little something, and if we can take part in any of that, that's what matters. I just want to make sure that these items are treated with reverence and care, and because if they were mine, I would want the same thing.
Alex Boyer, Fox 4 News.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, you were talking about having a house apartment fire. We both have had fires that have been really impactful in our lives, and it's nothing on this scale.
No.
But you lose your
I
belongings.
lost everything.
You lose it, but not people, right?
Right. Not people.
And thank goodness my wife was the one in charge of. I was being a man trying to save stuff and do stuff and stop it and solve it, and she carried our little boy out. But anyway, it's on a much smaller scale, but you know how that is.
I do.
A little like they brought some picture albums. That was a great save for us, and we saved all the pictures.
Well, my pastor in San Antonio, when I left home in '77, gave me a Bible. That Bible was the only thing saved in that fire. It was seared around the edges, but it was saved. Still have it, still use it today.
So that's what's
priceless.
That's what that group is doing, helping to reunite people with some of the things that will remind them of their life they had.
Yeah.
All right, so we are, the big wait here is for the president to arrive in that round table. That'll be, and I know we will have a camera in there and you'll be able to hear the discussion, which will be good for you guys to understand what is being asked of the president, what the president will promise to provide. I don't know if that looks like FEMA, although FEMA is starting to get different now. The president wants to change the structure of FEMA and just give the money straight to states.
That's part of what's being discussed.
You know, how can we get it straight to you instead of using this big organization and bring their trucks in to do it?
We'll see how this situation works, how they handle it here.
Yeah. More than 100,000 people from all around the world have already donated to Kerr County, the flood relief fund there. That's according to the officials who run it.
Yeah, this morning there was a big news conference. The Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country announced that $5 million in grant money will be made available immediately. Listen.
We have heard from Kerrvillians, Texans, Americans, and people all over the world say, we are with you today. This is a moment of collective grief, but as someone who is a part of the philanthropic response, I can tell you it is also a moment of extraordinary love. Today, in the midst of what is unimaginable and incomprehensible, we are also feeling immense gratitude as we share some news. Over the last week, the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country has received more than $30 million through the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. This is an incredible philanthropic response, gifts offered in the spirit of compassion and community to support those impacted by the disaster. This community, this region, and this state is not ready for the power of philanthropy that is coming to this town. We are going to do so much good because we are from Texas, and Texans step up and we handle it.
Well, you can help with flood recovery. Here's why. Just scan the QR code right now on your screen. Fox 4 has set up a secure site to give money directly to Kerr County Flood Relief. And Fox viewers have donated more than $3 million to the fund. Amazing. $30 million in 1 week.
Yeah.
In 1 week.
And I know sometimes people are, we all can be skeptical how but money solves. It just solves it. It takes money to recover. It takes money to rebuild. It takes money to get crews, and it's an expensive proposition.
And the communities, community foundations of Texas, this is what they do.
Right.
They know the charities that are doing the boots on the ground work, and especially
trusted
in
charities.
Kerr County. Yeah, so the money's going to the right places to get to people immediately.
30 million. It's going to take a lot more.
Yeah, and so folks are asked to keep giving. But it's wonderful to see all over the world. And one of the greatest stories that Austin Dixon from Kerrville, Community of Texas Hill Country, one of the stories he shared was how this started on the morning of the 4th of July. He was a high school kid who was running errands at one of the reunification centers. A parent shows up to pick up their child. They tip this high school kid $40 for taking care of their kid. That young man takes those two 20s, walks down to the Community Foundation of Texas Hill Country office and says, I want to donate. And that started on the 4th of July. That started this.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, as we go to break, we do have the pictures of the youngsters that we lost, and it's hard. It's hard, especially if you've had children. You know that, and even if you're not, even if you haven't, they're just little innocent lives. And so we're going to take a break, and we're going to go out with some of their pictures and remember them with us. All right, that's the round table. You see Senator Ted Cruz there on the right side of your screen. That is a round table location where the President and First Lady will participate in a roundtable discussion with first responders and local officials. That is scheduled to start at about 2:15. The discussion itself, I don't know when the President and First Lady will arrive. They were going to do the flyover. We saw them on the ground. They're going to visit a few spots really hard hit and maybe fly over them and
Talk
maybe
to some
stop.
people on the ground.
Yeah, we've seen some of that happening. And so this is a lot of local elected officials and nationally, you see, again, Ted Cruz and John Cornyn's traveling with the President. So this is where the requests will be made. This is where the promises, I guess, will be made for help and recovery.
Well, certainly they'll hear. This is where they'll hear what people need. They'll hear what has happened. They'll hear about all of the rescues. They'll hear about the debris cleaning and how we need to stand up this county again, and communities like Hunt, really hard hit, where Camp Mystic is located. They're going to hear all of that. And hopefully those folk will hear something from Washington, D.C. that they can count on at the same time.
That's Brandon Gill talking with Ted Gear, Congressman Brandon Gill from Flower Mound. I think, I don't know the President, but if you're there and these people, you're walking amongst these people who've lost children or loved ones or whatever, and you tell them, I'm going to do this for you, I would think, try to make it happen. Or maybe you don't promise because you don't.
But he's already made the promise.
Yeah, I mean,
he's already made the promise. Said we're going to do whatever we need to do for Texas.
Yep.
So that word is out there, and I think he's going to reemphasize that today in a compassionate way.
Yeah, I do too.
Of course, however long the roundtable discussion is, it won't be long enough, you know.
Is that Senator Cornyn back there?
It is.
Yeah. You're right. It won't be long enough. It won't be long enough. And sometimes these things get a little tedious with introductions and things like that. I hope they just get right to the meat of it. And not everybody needs to say who they are, where they're from. Just say what you need. And I'm talking about dignitaries.
Around the table.
Dignitaries.
We get it.
I want to hear from the people, the real people. I think the President would too. I actually don't know. Let me see if I can. They are supposed to be at the round table at 2:10, and they arrived in Kerrville at 1:20. So they got about 40 minutes to do what they've been doing.
To get there, yeah.
And get there and meet people on the ground. Well, I think where we saw them standing in front of the trees torn down, that was maybe their first stop, meeting with the police chief and maybe the fire chief and the big fire
City
truck.
manager was there.
City manager. But they'll be here shortly, I think. About half an hour. All right. There has been, well, we saw one, the family.
Chloe's her name, of the
dog.
family where the father called and left the voicemails.
Yeah, what's that, a whippet? Was it a whippet?
I think it was.
Something like that, yeah. An animal rescue nonprofit called Wings of Rescues is making several flights in and out of Kerr County to try to save animals, like the one we saw, affected by the flooding.
Yeah, you know what? Also bringing animals who were already at the Kerr County shelter when the flooding began, bringing them here to North Texas to help clear the shelter there, make space, and find them some forever homes. Fox 4's Paige Ellenberger has that story.
More than 100 animals landed here at Meacham Airport in Fort Worth early Wednesday morning. You can see behind me the Humane Society of North Texas and the SPCA of Texas vans loaded up 75 cats and dogs from the disaster zone in Central Texas, now finding safety and support here in North Texas. All of these animals, by the way, were already in the shelter system in Central Texas. It was vital they got out in order to make room for more pets that are missing from their families and to give those local shelters time to clean up and really, in some cases, rebuild after the flood. Again, more than 100 cats and dogs on the way to Fort Worth Wednesday morning. They all are getting dropped off at shelters across North Texas, like the SPCA and the local Humane Society. The rest are going to find safety in Utah. Those that made the trip with them say the work is far from being over.
Our partners have stepped in and everybody is willing just to continue making space. We've got emergency fosters on deck. It's incredible. It takes a village. This is not one organization. This is not one shelter. This is numerous partners coming together with the same plight. We all want to do good here in Texas.
Along with clearing shelters for more space and getting those pets out of disaster zones, Wings of Rescue dropping off veterinary supplies, also dog food to those in need. The rest of the animals getting loaded up here this morning. Here is what is really important, though. We've seen dozens of volunteers at Meacham Airport throughout Wednesday morning, but they need help from you as well. Monetary donations always welcome. That way the shelters can disperse it as they see need be. But what's really needed right now, foster homes. They are in desperate need of fosters. So if you're able to do so and willing to do so, we'll have more information over on our website, fox4news.com. Reporting at Meacham Airport in Fort Worth, I'm Paige Ellenberger, Fox 4 News.
Hoping not only for foster homes, but that some find forever homes, right?
Right. And just to reiterate what Paige's story, all those dogs were already in the foster system. They didn't have a home.
Right.
So they moved those out up here to be here, and if their shelter is still standing, the ones they find down there, they're going to keep down there so their owners can catch up with them.
Yeah.
That's probably one of their priorities, get their pets back.
That's a big search going on right now as well.
Yeah.
For animals as well.
Because a lot of the people who got out, they ran.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to get out, and they probably tried to get their animals out of there. But maybe I've seen dogs we both have, in a spirited situation. They get spooked and they run to the bushes and they get out. So they have to catch up with them.
So this is a live picture.
Yeah, this is live in that at the round table. And since people are sitting down, what, you think it's about to get underway?
Well, it could
Looks
be.
like it.
It could be. It looks like some of the early visiting is coming to an end. Folks are taking their seats, and maybe, just maybe, the president and First Lady Melania Trump and others traveling with them will soon be in that facility, and this discussion might begin.
Yeah, I can't figure out why that camera's pointed in that one single direction, but that's fine. We don't have control over that. Maybe that's the door.
Maybe that's the door.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. That
So
makes
there's
sense,
one camera. There is that one camera that's the pool, or the camera inside shooting, I believe, and that could very well be the door.
Or a barrier that they're going to walk behind or something. Come in, enter through. All right. That's consistent with what we thought on the timing, potentially.
Some folk are still very much at ease.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right.
Well, okay, so there's the media. Some of those are going to be traveling media, so it's getting closer for sure.
It looked like Dan Patrick was up toward the front, Lieutenant Governor off to the left there. But you're right, people are moving with a little more purpose, right?
Yep. Anticipations are growing, if you will.
And I think the other side of this is, we've talked about what is going to be communicated to the president, and that's the needs. But it is good for the people to hear that their representatives are asking for help, and they are keeping them in mind, and this is my elected representative, and he or she knows what I need and is vociferously fighting for me to get relief.
Yes.
And so of course they're going to do that, but it's good for the people to hear that people are fighting for them.
And Congressman Chip Roy, who grew up right there, talked about his kids every summer, 4th of July, his family on the river, and he's right there in the midst of it, fighting for the people and helping the people there through this life-changing event. And of course, we know the senators from our state are speaking up about the support that's needed here.
So what you can tell about that U-shaped round table is that the presidential seal is dead center in the middle. So that's where President Trump will be sitting, and then presumably his wife, First Lady Melania, on his right or left, and then the participants on either side running down the table. The seal does the talking.
But everybody can't see each other. Not exactly a round table, but they can all see each other. Yeah. These are the moments that make you quote unquote presidential?
Yeah.
These are the moments. Do you have the heart
Can you communicate with your
of
people?
America?
Yes.
Can people feel it and sense it? You show that kind of caring compassion for folks and then make the firm promise of help is on the way.
And I don't want to compare, but remember President Bush at Ground Zero with that megaphone deal saying, "I hear you," and that was everybody got it.
Yeah.
He understands. And so a lot of presidents, unfortunately, have this chance to do this probably too much.
Yes.
Make people feel better and safe and that they're going to be taken care of. We're watching the same thing you are. We haven't seen this, it's live, so we're trying to get a heads up on kind of
see who we can see.
See who we can see. And if it looks like on the other side of the table, some of the participants are standing behind their
chairs, yeah.
Chairs, so a lot of people are looking like they're getting in that position. So maybe it's close. This idea of streaming and on the internet and on our local app, it allows us to kind of be. We don't have to rush. Don't have to get to a commercial
Well, what
break.
it does is really it just takes takes our viewers right there as it's happening. It's not the edited package later on, the report, but you get to just participate and experience all of it, including waiting. And waiting, if you're covering an event, if you're part of an event, or if the event is for you, as in this case, waiting is the hardest part, always.
I think Tom Petty said something about that.
Yeah. Oh.
I do hope that people are made to feel better today. That's my hope. That they can feel some comfort.
It's hard to come back. People will come back from this. Texans are resilient. Folk in Kerr County, it's amazing what we've heard from them this week. In the midst of all of this, it's amazing what we've heard. They will come back. There will be very difficult days and tears yet flow, but
Kristi Noem,
they will come back.
I believe that's Kristi Noem.
Talking with Lieutenant
Dan
Governor
Patrick,
Dan Patrick. All right, let's take a break right here and then come back. Stay with us as we continue streaming the president's visit to the Hill Country, part of the Texas flood disaster.
All right, we're going to look back in, and you see the president is not at the head of the table, not just yet. This is where the roundtable discussion will be held. I want to read something off the AP Newswire.
Okay.
President Trump won Kerr County, 77% of the vote. So they're
no surprise there.
Trump supporters, and a man named Harris Curry, who's a rancher in Utopia nearby, said this area is primarily pro-Trump. And he says having the president visit will boost morale. It's the country, and that's what got him elected. Do we expect it? No. Is it uplifting? Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, and I kind of think people do expect it in a moment like this. I mean, I think that precedent has long been set with presidential history, even back to Ronald Reagan and the space shuttle explosion. You know, they slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God. What a moment. I still remember that. And so, yes, we look to the leader of our country and the leader of the free world in these moments to help us through them. So I think there is
That's a good point.
Expectation.
He's not just a leader politically, he's a leader of emotions, and he can set the tone, and you're right. Excellent.
And while Kerr County wholesale went for him, this is a moment that's really doesn't matter left or right.
No.
That shouldn't even be part of it. It should be a moment where we're talking about the heart of Texas, the heart of Central Texas, these people, and putting it back together again.
Yeah, and President Trump has done this in the past, like Hurricane Helene dam. They're different disasters.
Right. Might be the first time in Texas, though.
In Los Angeles, I think so, actually,
yeah.
for a disaster type of thing. And he probably doesn't campaign all that hard in Texas because he does pretty well here. So I know he's been here. But,
he has.
Not frequently, so people will be happy to see him. I think.
His first run for office, I covered him at a hotel right here off Central Expressway. He's been here. And with this leadership in our state and their connections to the president, you certainly would expect him to be here.
Yes. Yeah. I know. I get the feeling he has a pretty good relationship with Governor Abbott. During COVID, I think they spoke pretty frequently.
They have a good relationship on many political items and issues.
They agree politically.
So this now is a live picture in Kerr County. This picture you're looking at right now, live, clouds in the air.
That's what it looks like in Kerrville right now.
But 1 week ago, the video you're looking at now, was
you can
covered.
kind of see where the water flowed there.
Yeah, covered in water.
The road on the other side.
Rushing water. Volume and velocity, unbelievable.
Sorry, I had my hand up. There's lights in here.
See past the glare.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And when you look at the river this week, looked at it in the video that's being shot from the helicopter this week, and now it's just a lazy river. Again,
Nature.
Yes.
Nature can be rough and scary. Well, we'd remind you about donating. You can go back if you're on TV. I guess I know if you're streaming on a laptop. I don't know how far you can reverse it back, but we'll put that
the QR code
up again. If you're watching on your television, or some other way, you can freeze it and go back and.
And remember, that takes you directly to link to the Kerr County Relief Fund. Mm-hmm. So it's going to no middleman. It's going right to the folks who need it. That's how you can help. The Kerr County Relief Fund. And Fox viewers, I believe it's contributed more than $3 million.
Yes, so far.
So Dallas-Fort Worth has certainly done its part. North Texas, we thank you for that. There's always so much negative stuff in the news, but when these kinds of moments happen, it's wonderful to see how people coalesce around a crisis and you kind of wish you could bottle those feelings.
Boy, you sure do, especially when it comes to
Use
politics.
that all the time. When it comes to life in general.
Yes.
When it comes to life in
We
general.
know how to be good neighbors. We do a pretty good job of that, but I don't know, maybe I'm getting cynical, but politics, they have a way to divide us, and these are unfortunately tragedies bring us together, and I wish we were better at being
We're reminded,
together.
though, that we know how to be good neighbors.
Absolutely.
We can do it. And the sacrifice of people, the sacrifice to give is what's great to see.
Yes. Yeah, keep it up.
Of course, there are many companies and businesses who've donated large amounts, but 100,000 individual donors in 1 week.
Awesome.
Yeah. People, regular people, saying, I'm going to sacrifice and donate. That's awesome.
Really is. I know other people. One of the people who's at this round table was asked what he might tell President Trump that they need, and he stressed, this was Kerr County Commissioner Jeff Holt, that there is need for repairs to non-working phone towers in that area, and maybe a better early warning system for flooding. That's not all that. They don't always have common flooding early warning systems, and so if they have one in place that it doesn't work very well, that would be a good place to start.
Well, everything needs to be updated, and what they have perhaps is old and to some degree antiquated and may not be as effective, may not cover as much of an area, may not be the right type of outdoor flood warning system, but that's what's needed. That's what we're going to hear in the special session starting later this month. Now the phone tower repairs related to the flood, or those repairs were needed before the flood? Do we know that answer?
We do not, but it sounds like it might have been before, since the way he was talking about it.
I recall covering Katrina, and in the days after Katrina, the AT&T people were pouring in because so many people had a cell phone. Remember, the Superdome was the place of last resort, and so many people were there with phones, and they couldn't talk because they couldn't communicate, and the busyness of the phone companies were getting those towers back up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
Some things give us, infuse us even in the worst situation. If I can talk to somebody, if I can look at my phone, if I have some power, just a little power, that helps me through these moments, because otherwise you're cut off from all family and loved ones and don't know what's happening.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard about I think they're good on self coverage down there. Were you down there? In Kerrville?
I did not go to Kerrville.
Yeah, I think we had good cell phone coverage down there all week, so that good for the people down there. That that's the thing in these disasters. People want to immediately call the people they know in Kerrville. How you doing? Is everything okay? And it's nice to be able to have somebody pick up the phone and say, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, it's so maybe the towers he's talking about were in need of repair before the storm.
Maybe so.
Yeah, but now's the chance to get whatever you can get.
Yeah, Holt stressed the need for repairs to non-working phone towers. I don't know. Who knows? Well, if I know there's really no one generally more tight on time. I know the president can discuss with people, but usually when they're using aircraft and helicopters, they are on a time.
Well, they're on the president's time.
We'll see.
They were late leaving D.C. by maybe a half hour to 45 minutes.
Oh, good. We put the QR code on the screen. Nice.
Great.
Way to go, guys.
And so, the president.
Yeah, he can say, hold on a second.
He's got more wiggle room. And I doubt that there's anything else important as this on his calendar today in terms of anybody he's going to talk to.
Right.
And it's a Friday afternoon. He's going to end it in Kerrville, Texas.
Right. Yeah, he's going home from here tonight. Yeah. That's where he's going. Going to actually New Jersey.
To the golf course.
Yeah. To his home, not the White House. All right, so timing says they leave in Kerrville, where they've been making stops, in about 5 minutes, and they expect to be at this location in about 15 minutes. And I hope people can watch this in Kerrville. I guess they can, maybe. Right?
Say again?
People locally can watch it on their television if they've got the ability to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if they are.
I don't know how the situation is in power.
If it's on TV or if it's on the internet in that area. Don't know.
Hopefully it will be. The city of Hunt has received perhaps the most attention throughout this disaster. The specific city of Hunt, that's because that's where Camp Mystic was with all the
located
little girls.
Yeah, it really hit hard. And David Century spent some time there. He shows us, in fact, how some areas have been a challenge navigating through.
We said, let's go see if the river is rising. Yeah.
In his now flood-torn home, James Wright recalls grabbing a flashlight to see if flooding was approaching his home in Hunt, Texas, early Friday morning.
It was so surreal. I turned it off and turned it back on.
You couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, it looked like an ocean.
The 69-year-old and his wife sought higher ground in their garage attic. Water nearly reached them.
Probably to within 4 feet of us.
Wright thought about making a phone call.
Somebody needs to know where we are, not so they can come get us, but so if something bad happens, they'll know that we were here.
Fortunately, they survived, but they lived down the road from Camp Mystic.
It's a beautiful camp, beautiful girls.
Where many young girls and employees did not survive.
This is apocalyptic.
Well, several days after this catastrophic flooding on the Guadalupe River, crews are still searching for some of these missing girls from Camp Mystic. The community of Hunt, Texas, obviously beyond devastated, but right now people are coming from all across Texas to help them out.
I used to go to camp out here in Hunt, Texas. I went to Camp Stewart when I was a kid.
As a kid, Justin Morris used to visit Camp Mystic for co-ed dances.
I'd have dances here at Camp Mystic because it was an all-girls camp. We were all-boys camp. They mixed for dances.
Morris now volunteering with Good Shepherd Episcopal School's Disaster Relief and Recovery out of Dallas.
You see everything on the news, you see pictures online, you see everything through a phone, and then when you get here, it's just way worse than you think.
We heard about it.
Hank Coble also volunteering in Hunt alongside family.
You just feel sorry for everybody.
Most sorry for his friends out of Dallas. Blair and Brooke Harbor, swept away by floodwaters while vacationing in a cabin with their grandparents.
I saw their dad, who had just lost his parents and his daughters, and when I saw him just crying on the curb, I kind of knew I had to do something after that.
No single image can describe the wide-reaching devastation in Hunt.
The power was nothing I've ever experienced.
The Guadalupe River streams through the heart of this community and others in Central Texas.
I was paddleboarding this stream just 2 days before this happened.
And the river was in our yard.
Now, a yard full of belongings. Wright's home will be torn down. Still,
I'm blessed. I'm so lucky. I have the wherewithal to rebuild.
His spirit high, because in the aftermath of the heaviest disaster his community has ever seen, the response bringing everyone together.
What you see here is nobody gives a damn what your religion is, what your race is, what your gender is. Nobody cares. Everybody just cares that you're a human being and you've been hurt, and how can we help you? How can we help you get through this?
In Hunt, Texas, David Centendry, Fox 4 News.
Yeah, Hunt really hit the hardest, and the Hunt Volunteer Fire Department has been just unbelievable in its response.
Right,
yeah, not just responding for the rescues and all of that, but kind of converting itself into a disaster center. And so today, when the Communities Foundation of Texas Hill Country announced the $5 million grants that went out this week, one for $1.25 million went to 4 volunteer fire departments. In addition to that, the Hunt Volunteer Fire Department got another $500,000 to immediately help people in that community because of all the work they are doing.
I thought it was, what struck me, and maybe viewers noticed or not, when you looked at Camp Mystic across the river, beautiful. Green grass.
Yeah.
The water, it's beautiful.
That's
why you send your girls. It's beautiful, and it's just crazy to think, a week ago, what it did, and it just waters go down, and
it's absolutely beautiful part of the state and the nation, the Hill Country. Nothing else like it. Very picturesque, but
boy,
this week
turned sad. All right, going to take a break, and we think we'll be close when we come back to having the president's arrival, or it'll be within probably about 5 minutes. So we're going to take a break, maybe do a screen grab of that, or put your phone over that QR code if you're of a mind to do that, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Back to our live stream of the president's visit to Kerrville this week, 1 week after the flood. And Steve, I see where George Strait is holding a concert July 27th in Kerrville called Straight to the Heart fundraiser.
That's so interesting. We're not talking during this commercial, and we're looking. You know what I'm looking up?
The same thing.
Jelly roll.
Oh yes.
250,000, and I think more is coming. And there's rumors coming out of Kerrville from the people who live there that he's going door to door talking to people. Just nobody, just him, by himself.
That's kind of who he is.
Going door to door, just trying to offer some comfort and
encourage folks.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
yeah. And I love to see folks like George Strait, our Texans, doing what they can with the talent they have to help those folks. That's a good thing to see. All of the proceeds will go to the relief fund.
That's great. Yeah, and Jelly Roll just wrote an original song, Angels Don't Pack Their Bags, right after the flood. So nice. I imagine some of that money, record sales, will go that way too. So good things are happening for these folks. That makes me laugh. We're over here.
We didn't say a word to each other.
Country artists.
Let's see what's happening here. Nice. Very nice.
Expecting the president, first lady, and that team of folks who were traveling with him to arrive actually any moment now. And I'm sure they'll take a minute to greet the group and then get on with the discussions. I don't really know. I don't know if I guess the president may lead it and call on people to say their piece.
We'll
and what
see
you
if there's
need,
a moderator.
I don't know if there is.
Or if the president will
Sometimes he kind
go.
of does that.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, he wants to get past that. I mean, I've seen him before. He's like, yeah, what do you know, who are you and what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have time.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so you probably heard about this U.S. Coast Guard swimmer who was unbelievably a stud, if I'm allowed to say that, in the water, I don't know how many hours, and rescued 165 people who are probably alive today because that dude was in the water rescuing people for hours.
And he shared his story with us. Let's look and
Thank you so much for your service. I mean, you're an American hero. This is what you signed up for, was to do missions like this. Tell me about the scene.
Yeah, of course. So, when we got on scene, we were kind of battling with my crew on the 6553. We were kind of battling some pretty bad weather for maybe 5 to 6 hours before we were able to get on scene. Once we got on scene, we were boots on the ground. We made the decision to leave me there. We figured we'd be able to hoist more people out on our helicopter with me not on it. And then I'd be able to help out the scene at Camp Mystic a little bit better. Just a lot of people looking very scared, very tired, cold, missing loved ones, probably terrified, honestly. And I was just trying to be a voice of calm and triage these people and get them to safety as soon as we could.
Tell me how difficult it was. You know, it's one thing to do triage on an adult, but the majority of the people that you were dealing with were kids, young girls. They were frightened about what had just took place.
Yeah, of course. So a lot of them did have some minor injuries, nothing too serious, thankfully, at least the group I was dealing with. But a lot of them were just, like very scared. And I was just trying to console them and give them some sort of comfort. Again, they're having probably one of the worst days of their lives. But that's just what any Coast Guard rescue swimmer and or any Coast Guard member would have done in that situation. So I was just doing my job.
When you first arrived here, I asked you, how bad was the water? How bad was the current? And you said you tried to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, we kind of briefed as a crew prior about my preference if I wanted to get in the water, if I wanted to wear a wetsuit, a dry suit, whatever it may be. And I kind of advocated for myself and said, hey, I don't want to get in this water right now. On Friday, it was pretty bad weather, pretty high flood water, and I didn't feel comfortable getting in. And I ended up just staying on land to do a lot of the triage with the survivors. There was other crews getting in the water, risking way more than I was getting in. They need that recognition as well. So.
You know, Scott, a lot of people in the audience, they don't understand the severity of the water. They don't understand how this changed within a matter of an hour. Can you, someone that's experienced with the water and understands and respects the water and the power that it has, can you explain to our audience the difficulty that those kids have to deal with, and they weren't experienced at all?
Right, even as a professional rescuer, I was nervous about getting in the water. I can't imagine how 8, 9, 10-year-olds, these kids are heroic. They need to get the credit they're getting that they need. They some of the camp counselors were saving lives before we even got there. So, without those guys, it would be a lot worse situation. It's still very tragic. But I think there definitely needs to be a lot of heroism, praise to the survivors. They were saving themselves.
Scott, tell me what sticks out to you the most being here. I've covered a lot of school shootings with children there. What impacts you the most being out there on the scene?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is a lot of these kids, they're just kids. I was a kid once, I'm only 26. I got a lot of younger family and friends, and it's just wow, that could have been my family in that situation. So I need to do as best of a job as to help them get them out of the situation.
Scott, thank you so much for serving your country.
All right. First, love Scott Ruskin. Mm-hmm. And this was, I think he didn't mention that, his first rescue mission. Yeah. Really? He was an accountant and switched careers. And so this is a great story. I also loved his humility and how he gave credit to other people who got in the water and the camp counselors who were doing all the hard work.
Are you telling me doing the books wasn't exciting enough for him? Crunching the numbers?
But what a great story.
What a great man.
Yeah. We're going to hear from him later in the live interview, I think.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
So the picture you're watching for the roundtable, it is the Hill Country Youth Event Center in Kerrville, Texas, where the precious moments this afternoon, Friday afternoon, with President Trump will be spent.
About 50 minutes, maybe more, but that's what the schedule says anyway.
Yeah.
They ought to be able to get the plan together in whatever time it takes. We've seen most of the Texas leadership that is in Washington. We've seen both Texas senators. We've seen a lot of congressmen,
U.S. representatives,
U.S. reps, and even some of the president's staff and team already on the ground here. And we're just waiting on, I guess Governor Abbott is in the helicopter with the president and first lady. So.
Well, when we saw the lieutenant governor here,
sure.
Haven't seen Governor Abbott here. I would assume he is in Marine One and having his opportunity to talk to the president about what they're seeing and what they're needing. Yeah. And you know, I mean, this is good as we talked about. I don't think they're going to leave here with any plan today, though. This is like a big therapy moment.
I think you're right. I think that's the most important thing. They're gonna want to. They will have to communicate a lot more on what they're going to deliver and how they do that and all that. Yes, but
some assurances and reassurances.
They're going to hear the President of the United States tell their local leaders, "We are going to take care of you. We have your back." Yeah, and so that will be reassuring.
And these, be it on the national level or the state level, these types of roundtable discussions have become almost part of the after-action playbook when there is a tragedy.
It is, and I don't think it happened. I'm trying to think, like after 9/11. I don't think we saw a lot, but I think there is somebody who has said this does good for, you know, it makes the community feel heard and known, and because we do see this now out in the public. Let's have this discussion out so everybody can see it.
There was more of a commission after 9/11, you know, because that was a different kind of national tragedy.
Sure.
But for school shootings, for hurricanes, wildfires, as you come back from those things, these kinds of moments they're almost necessary, very cathartic for the community. And that's what's going to happen today again. But it's necessary, it's needed. And it's a message that resonates not only locally, but it will resonate across Fox News Channel.
All right, we think we have time to take a break before the president arrives, so we'll take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Steve Eager, Sean Rabb in studio, the Fox 4 studios for our coverage of the president's trip to Texas, specifically looking at the flood damage and the recovery underway in Kerrville, Texas, and offering support, coming with his wife, the First Lady, Melania, and going to offer some support, offer some financial reimbursement, and a lot of money to rebuild and take care of as much as can be taken care of with money and with government assistance.
Yeah, he will tell our leaders and those folks there today what he has said, that we're here with you all the way. And of course, we'll see how that road navigates going forward.
Down the road. What's delivered.
That's what they're going to hear
We'll keep
today.
track of that, right? That's kind of our job too.
Yeah.
Make sure promises made or
Promises kept.
Yep.
Right.
That'll be good. The president, on his schedule, had him here in this room. What did you say, the youth?
It's the Hill
Recreation
County
kinda
Youth
center?
Event Center
Youth
in Kerrville.
And was going to be here about 5 minutes ago. And so we expect him shortly.
Yeah.
And
He's really on.
Well,
and I don't know a president who's on time.
Well, and this is different. It's special.
So, right. It's loose. It's not a hard clock. They started late. The day started late, leaving the nation's capital. So that pushed everything back. While they made up a lot of time on Air Force One, then landing at Lackland Air Force Base, some time on the ground there to the helicopter, and then the short ride, the 65 miles from San Antonio north and west to Kerrville.
Yeah, but he's due to be back in Bedminster, New Jersey, one of his homes. So he can arrive home late. He doesn't have any other meetings. He's going to be late. So let him do what he would want to do. There's U.S. Senator John Cornyn of Texas talking with a DPS official there who's going to be in that meeting. And you see
That's
over
probably
the shoulder,
the
Dan
DPS
Crenshaw
commander
back
there.
Yeah, probably Dan Crenshaw, congressman, back in
Yes.
the background there. On the left.
That is the commander.
You see the insignia on the shoulder there? Yeah.
The Colonel, Freeman Martin, speaking with the senior senator.
Dan Patrick back there as well. Kind of blocked out, but back there. So everybody's pretty, I don't know if excited is the right word, but they are ready to hear from the president and
They're anticipatory. They're waiting, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. I think as people watch the clock and look at it, and they're really anticipating his arrival. You kind of get antsy when you're in the room.
Yeah, and I think this will serve as sort of the next thing, as sad as there's going to be funerals, and this signals something. The president has been here. He's going to say, we're going to take care of you, and then they can kind of press on with all the sad and terrible things. Funerals.
It's the moving parts of life. There were funerals even today here in North Texas. It's the moving parts of life. Yes, even as this happens, and folks who've been recovered in that area and they plan those funerals, guess what? The search, recovery, or rescue, use the term you'd like, continues. And you always hold out hope. You always hold out hope. But like the sun sets in the west in the evening, hope kind of at times fades as well with each passing hour, really. But you hold out hope that in a miraculous way, somehow, some way, somebody 8 days later can be found alive. It has happened. In other places, it has happened. Yeah.
Texas.
It has happened. It has happened.
It can happen. I mean, it'd be miraculous. But the rescues have already been miraculous. They've done some good work.
Talking about this part of life, here's what. In downtown Kerrville, in the city of Kerrville, life goes on.
Oh, people went to work, right?
People went to work. They're in the supermarket. They're in the restaurants. And yet, just a few miles down the road to the right, down the county road, there's the river. And all the people who live along the river.
We have experienced that. I don't think people who don't work in this business, or maybe law enforcement or medical, I remember my first real tragedy that I covered was the Murrah Federal Building bombing.
Yes.
And being down there at Ground Zero for felt like I didn't sleep for 3 days. And then we went to eat at kind of a country western line dancing, and it was just shocking to me that life was going on. I'd been down there at the worst possible, so it was just depressing and sad and emotional, and then you go out and it's like, oh man, life is actually continuing.
Right.
And
and we kind of did that too in Oklahoma City after the work day, night was over. Where are we going to go eat?
Right.
You know? You went back to your hotel where it was a different atmosphere.
Yeah. So life will go on. People will recover. Everybody's sitting down now, so I think everybody at the table was interacting, and now they've gotten word it's time to take their spots.
Their seats.
And Elaine, we do have enough mics in there. We're gonna hear everything that goes on.
We hope to hear everything that is going to go on. We were told earlier that they plan to have full audio, but the technology has to work in the room. And so I'm sure the engineers are trying to make that happen. We can hear some of that sound, though.
Yeah, thank you. Some open mics. Great.
We certainly thank you for staying with us in the stream, and certainly hope that you'll listen in on this conversation.
It'll be the most important thing. Yeah, this will be the good reason to be watching.
You see the microphones, they just all need to work now. Those guys look more like audio people walking by than anybody else. And make sure people can hear.
Everybody wants to hear.
Yeah.
Well, these are the moments. President Trump has served one term already, so he knows how it works. But these are the moments that presidents can really make a difference.
Right.
In people's lives. Just a few words, depending on. I don't know. He doesn't seem like he usually rolls with a script. But he might have something in mind he wants to stay and deliver it, or he might ad-lib.
We'll see. I mean,
whatever works.
But there's no time in a presidency that the commander-in-chief is more personal with
comforting after loss
than this time, right?
And tragedy. Yeah. You're right.
Other times it's the business of the Oval Office. It's the decisions for the country and the world. But this is the heart and the needs of the citizens. $143 now.
One of the things that Caroline Leavitt said, the White House press secretary, that the president wants to ensure the people of Kerrville and all American citizens that they will always have what they need during times of need, whether that assistance comes from states or the federal government, that he's here to tell them that they will have what they need.
And of course, the state leadership has said, well, placed on the agenda for the special session, flood warnings. It's now one of the 18 items on the agenda for the special session. So, and the governor and the lieutenant governor has vowed to take care of it. But certainly could appreciate and use the money from the federal government. I mean, so many homes have to be rebuilt.
Yeah, we don't know if they're going to need assistance, or is there, if where that was built, is it floodplain? Can they be insured? Is it self-insured? How does that work? And if the federal government guarantees that, then that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. There's your
Rescue
long
dog.
sniffing dog, perhaps there.
Oh yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make a quick walk.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Make the route
Absolutely.
safe. Even though I'm
It's a
sure
great-
everybody went through a magnometer and all that kind of stuff, still doesn't matter.
No, this is the highest level of security, and that sweep is going to always happen. In fact, Stephen Dial is there. He had to be in place many hours early, he and John Ganan, because that security sweep, done it many times. You have to go through it.
It's kind of a pain.
Yeah, but it's so worth
necessary. No, I don't complain about it, but
Right.
it takes a long time.
It does.
And then you sit and wait for 2.5 hours. That's fine.
See, I believe that's Nim Kid there on the far end.
Is that
Maybe.
the mayor in the white shirt? Is he the one that we
That's the mayor, white shirt,
Yep.
beard.
Yes.
The gray beard and glasses, yeah.
Sitting next to Dan Patrick, it looks like, and you can't see him very well, but it's on the mayor's right, I believe.
Yeah. And I believe that's Nim Kid at the very end of the table there. And I can't imagine flood insurance for anyone living along the river, especially after 87, but got to be in a floodplain. And the history, I mean, the 87 flood wasn't the first. And so 1974, I believe. And yeah. The 1987 flood, of course, you remember, it was kids from Bald Springs Christian Academy. Right here again, North Texas kids. Not as many lives lost. Lives lost. And of course, those people, the survivors, have relived all of that again, starting on last Friday morning.
But to a certain extent, this is why the government is, to help people when they need it.
Well, it is, the government should help its people. He's got to be close. He might be in a private meeting talking about President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania right now. He might be meeting with some citizens. Don't know, but he's got to be close at this point. And of course, they're the handlers and advisors. Mr. President, we need to move on, but the president moves at their own pace.
There was not really on the official schedule, I didn't see a chance to meet and confer with and express their sympathies for people who lost loved ones. So that
could be happening.
Could be happening right now.
We saw him talking earlier with a couple of folk down along the riverbed there where Doyle Rice, the city manager, was showing him the map of the river. And so it's quite possible some of those folks appear to be more regular citizens than anyone else.
Absolutely.
And maybe he's doing some of that after the aerial tour.
That would be his style. He'd want to meet with the people suffering, try to
Yeah,
make
that
them
would
feel
be
better. That'd be
any president's style.
Best moments.
And you really don't want their movements to be that tied to a timeline. You want it to have some movement, openness in it. So that's likely what could be happening. Because it appears as though all the official city, county folk are in the room at the table, in the room where it's going to happen here in a little while. Now, you will recall, though, we saw Mr. President in North Carolina after the hurricane. So he understands this. He knows how to do it. He's done it before. And this is really no big deal, just a little something for the people watching. There are 2 cameras now in the room. So we have 2 different angles. You'll notice switching. This is the wide shot there, Steve. And
believe it or not, I'm familiar with cameras.
The switching of cameras, huh?
What camera am I on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question every day.
It is interesting. This is really quickly connected. I am curious, although, you know, the president said we're going to take care of people, and he likes to get it to the state level. But the big thing that he has been sort of being criticized, this event has made for the opposition to use for fodder, that he wants to get rid of FEMA. And so that line of talk on his political opponents has been, well, he wants to get rid of FEMA. These people are going to be in trouble. But the other side of it is he wants to get rid of FEMA on the national level and turn it over to the state level and give states funding on the front lines.
You turn the monies over to the
money,
states.
Yes, yeah, not just the taking care of, but the money.
Yeah.
Here's I don't know, however much, $100 billion for each state, however much it would take. Yeah, get the federal government out of that and get the local leaders who know how to do it more involved in that.
So you asked a question earlier about would it be live? We know it will be now.
Mm-hmm.
First Lady Melania Trump posting on Twitter, watch live. So it will be, this is really a moment now, because what's going to happen in Kerrville, as it happens, live across the country.
All over, nationwide.
Yeah. And she just posted that, so have to anticipate it's going to happen.
Well, it'll be
soon
at least the, you know, Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, those folks, and I don't know if the nationals will pick it up. That'd be interesting. I don't know.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
ABC, CBS, NBC carry it.
So
do a news cut in and have the.
It's. I don't know that they're going to do major level cut-ins and carry it across the country, but it's certain we know all the cables will, and we know that, as you just said, we could see a cut-in from the network saying this is happening right now as they look in and then dump out of that.
I mean, because this is a disaster nationally. It's got everybody's attention.
Yeah.
It just has. It's tragedy, it's terrible, and people are talking about it all across the country.
You don't want to go into the history books for this and then find yourself near the top in terms of number of casualties, number of fatalities from a flooding event, which is where this now rests, place number 4, I believe, in history in our state. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Children, you know, it's
just in Kerr County, and don't believe I've seen a new number today, 96 dead in Kerr County, 60 adults, 36 children, just in Kerr County. And again, many missing in Kerr County.
Well, still 170 people missing.
Missing
I haven't heard
across
how that
the region.
Breakdowns yet, how that breaks down. But
right.
As far as children and adults, but it's awful. And we all project, don't we? I think you folks at home are probably doing that same thing. I have grandchildren now, those girls' age, and it's just,
yeah.
It's tough to not kind of say, what would I do?
Yeah, and it's a moment of reflection. You know, my child was a camp counselor for 2 years, and when all this happened, we talked about what could have happened while she was a camp counselor at a different location in the state, in Killeen. But I mean, those are the kinds of moments that give you pause when you think back.
Yeah, and make you want to. I was gonna say, quit work and go visit your grandkids, and you're getting not quite that extent, but yeah, you really want to check in and
makes you want to love them more.
Be mindful of what you have, and yeah,
certainly makes you want to love them more. And you find yourself
not caring about your car so much and caring more about your grandchildren and time with them, and not caring so much about your house being big and beautiful. And as you get to the end of your clock, your personal life, like,
I found myself this week reciting the names of the kids and praying for their families. It was There's been no words. And yet, you know, you push through, you put your emotions on the side, you report on the stories. And then you, at least I do, come back to it. It's not for me as a reporter. This is something I have lived for my life. It's not just telling a story. I somehow get connected to the stories I tell. And it's been that kind of week where I've called the names of these kids, their families. I'm sorry.
No, it's very generous and insightful. I know when I didn't, it's for some a little different for me. I have 7 grandchildren, Sean, and every one of their little faces I see in these pictures we put up on TV and think, oh,
sure you do.
Gosh,
right.
What would I do?
Right.
And then you say prayers for the lives lost and like, please no, never. No.
And I don't think our emotions and our feelings aren't in a silo.
No,
Right?
everybody's thinking the
We're all
same
there.
thing. Yeah.
We're touching emotions with people who touch and agree with us for these families.
And it is, I think most of us say, I don't know how I would survive this. So you feel so much for the families that are doing it. Because
Yes.
you know, how do they do it? Where do they get their strength? How are they navigating it? So I think the president has been in that building about almost coming up on a half an hour or 25 minutes. I think it's fairly. I think we can be fairly certain he's been talking to some.
Probably.
Some
He's
people.
been talking to
trying
somebody.
comfort, you know.
All right, here he is.
There he is.
President of the United States, Donald Trump, has entered the room, all standing as he comes in. First Lady Melania sitting to his right. The governor, Greg Abbott, to his left.
Well, this is a tough one. And we just were making a little tour of the area. It's hard to believe the devastation. Trees that are 100 years old just ripped out of the ground. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of bad ones. I've gone to a lot of hurricanes, a lot of tornadoes. I've never seen anything like this. This is a bad one. We just visited with incredible families that, I mean, look, they've been devastated. They lost their child or 2 children, and just hard to believe what, I've never seen anything like it. A little narrow river that becomes a monster, and that's what happened. But the First Lady and I are here in Texas to express the love and support and the anguish of our entire nation in the aftermath of this really horrific and deadly flood. Nobody has any idea how and why a thing like this could happen. It's, and by the way, I have to tell you, the people here, first responders, the sheriff's office, all of the police, law enforcement, they've done an unbelievable job. And in speaking to the parents, they said everybody has been so professional, from the governor to the senators, all the way down to the local people on the site that really are a little bit used to this. But they've been looking at this for years, but in much smaller doses, and in much, much smaller doses. 12 years ago, and then in 1932, they had a real bad one, but that bad one was half of what this was. But I was speaking to some of the great people in the town, and they said, no, every year we get a little bit, but it was like a little bit of a flood, right? you were telling me, and it was just a flood. We got used to it. We had people, and we took care of it. And this year it was like, what's going on, right? So all across the country, Americans' hearts are shattered. I had to be here as president. First Lady wanted to be here. And, all the beautiful souls, and we're filled with grief and devastation. The loss of life. And unfortunately, they're still looking. They're still looking. There's a lot of missing children, possibly, mostly, we don't know, but they're still looking. And they'll find everybody, but it's not an easy thing. You would think it would be easy. It's very tough. I looked at what they're going through, what they have to do. But dozens and dozens of precious children taken from us with such, I looked at the pictures of almost all of them, and it's terrible. Following a torrential downpour, the worst that anyone's ever seen, Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in less than 45 minutes, and I've even heard it went well over 30 feet. There's one story that one person said it had to be 60 feet at one moment. This is like a giant, giant wave in the Pacific Ocean that the best surfers in the world would be afraid to surf. And it unleashed a catastrophic flooding as most residents were asleep in their beds. A very dark evening. The waters claimed at least 135, 140 lives. They're getting that count, but the count that they don't have is how many are still missing. But a lot of lives, a lot of young angels. At the Girls Christian Summer Camp, known as Camp Mystic, a legendary camp, a camp that people would want to go to from all over the country. People, parents, they come and they would stay with their children. They'd stay in other cabins just to be with their children, but a legendary place. They were there because they loved God, and as we grieve this unthinkable tragedy, we take comfort in the knowledge that God has welcomed those little, beautiful girls into his comforting arms in heaven. And we believe that, have to believe that, and we do. And we lost some wonderful people beyond the little girls. We lost some very brave men and women that tried to save the girls. As our nation, we mourn for every single life that was swept away in the flood, and we pray for the families that are left behind. It's amazing the incredible spirit from those families. I don't know. I don't even know how they do it. But moments ago, Melania and I spent a lot of time with them. That's why we're a little late. I think this was a good reason to be late, frankly. And we just gave our warmest condolences. But you say to yourself, you know, how do you give condolences? How do you do that to a young person that 3 days ago was here, 4 days ago was here and vibrant, and now is no longer here? The search for the missing continues. The people that are doing it are unbelievable people, that you couldn't get better people than this anywhere, Christy, right? Anywhere in the world, you couldn't get better people. And they're doing the job like I don't think anybody else could, frankly. And I want to thank them. I want to thank all of these great first responders who raced into very grave danger. We have some people that were incredible. The single Coast Guard rescue crew saved an incredible 169 children at Camp Mystic, 169. And the camp staff was also incredibly courageous. Are those Coast Guard people around here someplace? Because I hear some incredible, incredible people. And I actually, Scott Ruskin, is he around? Where's Scott?
He's not here right now, sir, but he will be here later, and I will be
okay. Well, you let him know.
With some,
and John Dunn, the owner of the Hunt store, was a flood. Where are you? Okay, good. We spoke a little while ago, and it sort of, John was telling me some stories about that store, and it was just really amazing.
Yes, Mr. President. First, let me correct. I was owner of the Hunt store from 2013 till April of last year, where I actually sold the store to Haley and BB Lehrman, who are
Right.
excellent operators, and they're on the ground right now in Hunt, leading the effort there together with
Good.
the fire department, the churches, the schools, what have you.
Good.
And they're doing a phenomenal job.
Good, John.
My role in it is I had seller finance the deal, and
You're
so
going to
I'm-
bring it back?
I'm absolutely going to bring it back.
And the
together
walls
with
are up,
Haley
the
and
two
BB.
walls are up, and you're
Look,
going to...
there's belief out there that it was a total loss. It's not. Gentleman by the name of Larry Graham put up some incredible walls in 1973, and he's a great engineer, and those walls are still standing.
Save the walls.
Save the walls.
Okay.
And the goal is, and I think we can get it done between Haley, BB, myself, and some outside help that we're going to be getting. I think we're going to get it reopened very quickly.
Good.
I think it's important to get it open quickly because once we do, the community can get back to a sense of normalcy. I think it'll be good for the community. I think it'll accelerate the recovery process. There's a lot that has to be done, but I'm impressed and very pleased with the resources that I think are going to become available through the conversations with Chip Roy, Governor Abbott's office, and others, that we will get it done quickly. Yes, sir.
Thanks, John. Good luck with it. Okay, I'm sure you will. The search for the missing is continuing, as you know, and today I especially want to thank all of these incredible people from the Coast Guard, and you'll give my regards in particular to some of the people we mentioned. Every American should be inspired by what's taken place during this short period of time, and I want to thank Governor Abbott. He's an amazing guy. We come very, very close politically and personally, and we've had a tremendous relationship with Texas. I guess Texas brought us together. We were together fine, but now we're together a lot more. And I want to thank Cecilia, your great wife, who's been our friend for a long time. The job you do is really incredible in so many different ways, including with the border and every different way. Admired by everybody. Secretaries, Christino, Brooke Rollins, Scott Turner, and Administrator Kelly Loeffler, they all wanted to be here. Some of them hopped on the plane with me. Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, you're here among us. And thank you very much. Our great Lieutenant Governor, I see you sitting there. I don't know if they even have your name down, but when I'm here, your name is down, right? He's doing a good job, always did. Always did. Also, numerous members of Congress, including Chip Roy from the district. This is Chip's district. I had a lot of time last week we spent with Chip Roy getting that great, big, beautiful bill passed. And who would have thought, and he's not easy, but he's good. Where is he? Where's Chip? Who would have thought this was going to happen? And he called because we had a big ceremony set up, and he said, you know, we have a little bit of a flood here, and I think it's going to be a little bit, I better stay here. I better not come back and go to it. And he wanted to be there. He was a part of it, a big part of it. And then he called again, and he said, this is bad. And then it got really bad, far beyond your worst, wildest imagination, right? So thank you very much, Chip. I appreciate it. And Brian Babin also is, I don't know if Brian's here. But we do have, and I have to just give some of the names because it's very unusual. Nathaniel Moran, Dan Crenshaw, all of these people wanted to be here. Keith Self, Jake Elzey, August Pfluger, Craig Goldman, Ronnie Jackson. Where are you people? Are you here? You're all here? Where's Ronnie Jackson? Ronnie Jackson, what a person. Every one of these people is so incredible. Randy Weber, Pete Sessions, Tony Gonzalez. Well, we have everybody. Beth Van Dyne. Hi, Beth. Hi, Beth. Roger Williams. Brandon Gill. Hi, Roger. Brandon, you're here? Yes? Thanks, Brandon. Doing a good job, Brandon. Michael Cloud, John Carter, and Wesley Hunt. And we have others, but I'm not, we have to get on with it. But I did want to ask Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. He's been my friend from the beginning. He's been the chairman of all three of my campaigns, and all I know is we won by record amounts, so I guess you were a pretty good chairman, right, Dan? And his son is fantastic, too. But Attorney General Ken Paxton. Ken's around here someplace. Hi, Ken. Hi. And Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Freeman Martin. Freeman, thank you very much. You're doing an amazing job. Texas Chief of Emergency Management, Nim Kidd. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for greeting us, too. Major General Thomas Seltzer of the Texas Military Department. Thomas, great job. Thank you. Really good job. And many other officials and government, everybody is here. You know, it's amazing. I do these things, and often you just don't have a turnout like this. Half of government is here, but my administration is doing everything in its power to help Texas, and I can tell you that, and the governor will be the first to tell you that when the request was made for the emergency funds, Christie, I think we gave it within about 2 minutes, maybe less, and they had everything they needed, right, immediately. So we've deployed over 400 first responders and assisted or enabled more than 1,500 rescues. Amazing, 1,500. Customs and Border Protection and the U.S. Coast Guard have deployed numerous search and rescue crews, and they're all over the territory, and trauma teams. And beyond this area, you know, the governor was saying we've gone a little bit beyond this area. Oh, there's Dr. Phil. Look at Dr. Phil. You're looking good, Phil. This is a hell of a situation, isn't it, huh? FEMA has deployed multiple emergency response units, and FEMA has been really headed by some very good people. We have some good people running FEMA. It's about time, right? We get some good ones. They failed us in North Carolina, but when we got in on January 20th, they fixed it up in no time. And the Army Corps of Engineers is always around and always strong and brilliant. We're also taking historic action to ensure that such a nightmare never happens again. And we're going to look and see how can a thing like this, they could say it's a 100-year, somebody said it's a 500-year event. It doesn't, we're not going to let a thing like this happen again where it can wreak this kind of devastation. Earlier this year, I directed a sweeping review of the preparedness and critical infrastructure. I think, again, I have to say, whenever I say that, I have to say that the level of professionalism was incredible. But we'll all work together to find out exactly what can be done, because they do want to rebuild, and they're going to. I just want to say we have a wonderful First Lady, and she's done a great job as First Lady, and she really very special woman when she saw and met the people that we met just a little while ago. It's very devastating. And would you like to say a few words, honey?
My deepest sympathy to all of the parents who lost beautiful young souls. Deepest sympathy from all of us, to the community, to everybody who lost a loved one. We are grieving with you. Our nation is grieving with you. We just met with the wonderful families. We pray with them, we hug, we hold hands. They shared the stories, and I met beautiful young ladies. They gave me this special bracelet from the camp in honor of all of the little girls that they lost their lives. So we are here to honor them and also to give the support, help, and I will be back. I promise to them, and I just pray for them and giving them my strength and love.
Thank you, honey. That's very nice. Thank you very much. So I just want to say God bless you all, and I'd like to ask Governor Abbott to say a few words, please. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, First Lady. The first thing both of you mentioned were the lives that were affected by this. Whenever there's a disaster or catastrophe, the first thing we focus on is saving lives, prioritizing those lives. Every minute, every hour counts, and that's what Chief Nim Kidd focused on, what the local officials focused on, what the state focused on, but also what your administration did. On the very day of the flood, you know, the Coast Guard literally saving lives right and left, and we cannot thank you enough for deploying the Coast Guard, deploying the resources, and as you pointed out, immediately, when I made a request for a disaster declaration, you and your administration granted that. This is the fastest that I'm aware of any administration responding so swiftly, so collaboratively, so coordinated as we have in response to this. Thank you for that major disaster declaration. It ensures that we're going to be able to more effectively respond and help rebuild. And let me make one thing clear about the Hunt store. We will rebuild the Hunt store very quickly right here in Hunt, Texas.
Thank you, Governor.
Also, I too want to thank all the first responders, and we have many of our legislators over here. I want to thank them for stepping up and being here constantly, as well as state officials who join with us. And as we've said before, we remain committed. We're here for the long run. We will maintain our operations to search and find everybody that we can, as well as ensure that we're going to rebuild this community from Hunt to Camp Mystic to Kerrville down below. We are committed for the long run, not just to rebuild, but to rebuild in a better way. I have received a lot of detail, even from the president himself, about ways that we can do a better job in the rebuilding process. And we will put all of that to work. We have a special session beginning in 10 days when we're going to start working legislatively to make sure that we address every challenge that the people of this entire region, including the Central Texas region, make sure we help rebuild the families and communities of all of them. But we would not have been able to do that the way that we have had it not been for you, your commitment to Texas. I know you love Texas, and Texas loves you. We appreciate you showing up, and because of your swift and effective response, we're better positioned to deliver on all those commitments than ever before.
Thank you, Governor. That's very nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Christy, would you like to say something? Fantastic job you've done.
Well, Mr. President, I just want to thank you for coming and being here today, and to our First Lady as well. Your heart is evident for the people of Texas, and by you coming here and spending the day and taking the time to spend so much time with the families, I've spoken with many of them over the last several days, and they're so grateful for you that not only are you here to come and walk alongside of them, but to spend time with them and to deploy resources to help support the governor and his team, I think has meant the world, not just to those that are making the decisions, but to all of those down to the ones who have lost their children and those who are still looking for their children. So that's the hardest part about the situation we have here today, sir, is that when you have a disaster like this, I believe this is an unprecedented event. I haven't heard in my knowledge, know of a flood that happened like this before. So, you know, in our experience, we know that it's at least a 1 in 1,000 year flood that hit this area in an unprecedented way. And emergencies and disasters are always locally executed. The state manages them, and then the federal government comes in and supports that. What we are doing here, sir, is empowering the state and the local officials to make the best decisions for their people, because they know their people, they know their community, and when they ask, then we come in and support them. So thank you for being a president who trusts people, who lets them use the responsibility that they have to make the best decisions for their families, for their communities, and we come in and we support them in that. So I can't thank you for helping us making such quick decisions, for Nim and his team, and the governor is absolutely fantastic. Every time I picked up the phone and was here, the lieutenant governor was available, the entire team, the Coast Guard and the Border Patrol were absolute amazing resources on the ground immediately, and we've had over 700 different FEMA employees and volunteers here as well that are engaged, and so all of your assets that you have as a federal government are deployed to help this community restore, but also to heal. I would just ask everybody in the room to remember to love on each other too, and to tell stories and memories, and that's how the greatest fear when you lose someone in your life is that people will forget them. So tell the stories that you knew and write them down and remember them, because nobody wants their loved one that they don't have anymore to ever be forgotten.
Thanks, Christy. Appreciate it. Nim, would you say a few words, please?
Thank
Done
you,
a
Mr.
fantastic
President.
job working with Christy and everybody else. Thank you. Go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. Thank you both for being here. Our hearts are broken, but they fuel the engine that drives this response for this community. These local first responders are the best in the nation. They put their lives on the line. Our volunteer firefighters that were out there putting their lives on the line, knowing that their homes were at risk. You have the best in the nation right here at the local level. Governor Abbott declared 21 Texas counties for this weather event under a state of disaster declaration. Your immediate declaration for individual assistance and public assistance will help us rebuild and recover. We've had over 2,200 state agency response personnel assisting our local government partners. But Mr. President, here's a staggering number. Over 12,300 volunteers have shown up here out of love to support this community. Just imagine, working 10 hours a day, 7 days into this event right now, that's over 861,000 hours of volunteer support right here. 19 other states have sent resources to us. Secretary Noem, thank you for the coordination and the effort on that. Your team has been phenomenal. We will continue the search nonstop. We will continue debris removal, and we will help this community rebuild. We're ready, sir.
Thank you for a really great job you've done, and the coordination's been incredible with us and everybody else. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Dr. Phil, I see you sitting there, and this might be a time for you to give us some of your words of wisdom, if you would. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I've talked to families and survivors, parents and grandparents, and the truth is we know psychologically that the number one stressor that we can experience in life is the loss of a child. And the worst situation that we can experience that is when it's sudden and when it's violent. That's the worst thing that can happen stress-wise in life. And you know, it's people say, well, you know, you get over it in time. You will. The truth is, you never get over it. You get through it. And one of the things Secretary Noem was just talking about, no truer words could be said, that it's cathartic to talk about this. And there's a collective consciousness in these communities down here. This is my country here. Texas is home for me. And,
right.
And there's a collective consciousness here. And everybody in these communities suffered this loss at some level. And so everybody shares that. And so everybody shares the healing. And that will come through here. Everybody will rally together. And this is about faith, and it's about family, and it's about it's truly about community. And it says Texas Strong on the front of the desk that you're sitting at, and that's true because people will come together. And we need to realize that giving this a voice, and if you see someone in the store, everybody wonders, you know, do I say something to them? I know they lost a child or a grandchild. Do I bring it up, or because they look like they're doing okay? The answer to that question is an unambiguous yes. You don't ever let them think you've moved on from it. It's okay to go and say, hey, look, I know about the loss. I share that with you, and I love you, and we won't forget this, because these bright lights will go away. Another headline will come along, and people move on. Let them know we don't forget. We don't forget the loss. It will never go away, and we remember it. And these first responders down here, men and women that were diving into those waters. I've talked to a woman whose husband was standing on the bank of the river yelling to a father, throw me your baby, throw me your baby, let me help you. Mr. President, there is a depth of root and caring here like you just can't believe until you see it. And everybody here knows that. And it's so inspiring for you and the First Lady to come here and share this and see the fiber of these communities. That's why they rally around you and everything that you stand for here, from the border to the disasters. And it's not just a photo op for you to be here. People see your heart and believe in what you stand for. And God bless you for coming here and doing this. It means a lot. God bless you.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. I'm glad I asked him to say a few words, Dan. Do you want to say a couple of words, Dan? Please, Lieutenant Governor.
We spoke the morning immediately. You and I talked the very next morning, and he was right there.
First of all, Mr. President, First Lady,
a long time ago, I asked a pastor when I was going to see a hospital, person in the hospital who didn't have long to live, and I said, what do I say? And they said, don't worry about what you say, just be there. So you and Madam First Lady, the two of you being here, sends a message, it paints a picture that words can't express, and it gives them hope. And the people of this community have become a family. I didn't know the mayor last week. I wish I didn't know him today under these circumstances. But we've become a family around this room, and it starts with you at the top, down to the governor, down to the statewides, down to the secretary. I mean, Christy Nome coming in, she called Saturday morning and said, the president wants me to be there today. And she came. And so that message is so important. Two things will get us through: our faith, so the people along this river are not standing on the rock of the bank of the river, they're standing on the rock of their faith. And that will get them through the struggles that you talk about. But you and the federal government will help us get through everything, all the debris that has to be taken, all the rebuilding, and I know we can count on you. So from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of all of these families, thank you for being here. You just can't measure how much it means to them.
Thank you very much, David. Great job. Appreciate it. Do you want to take a couple of questions, Governor? Would you want to do that? Do you want to? Sure. Is the press going to be respectful of this event, this horrible event, this horrible tragedy? Please, yes. Go ahead, please.
Marissa Admas here with CBS News Texas. Several families we've heard from are obviously upset because they say that those warnings, those alerts didn't go out in time, and they also say that people could have been saved. What do you say to those families?
Well, I think everyone did an incredible job under the circumstances. This was, I guess Christy said, a 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000 years. And I just have admiration for the job that everybody did. There was just admiration. The only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that. I think this has been heroism. This has been incredible, really, the job you've all done. It's easy to sit back and say, oh, what could have happened here or there, you know. Maybe we could have done something differently. This was a thing that has never happened before. And nobody's ever seen anything. I've never seen anything like this. I've gone to some real bad ones. I've never seen anything like this. So I admire you, and I consider you heroes and heroine. And I think you've done an amazing job. Brian, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I could ask you, who was the first person to contact you to notify you that this tragedy was unfolding?
Probably Christy, but I was notified by a lot, and Chip called also. Chip was here for, he thought it was going to be a little flood. He was going to miss the signing for the big, beautiful bill. And he called to apologize. He said he's going to be delayed because of a little flood, and the little flood turned out to be the biggest flood anyone's ever seen. So Chip but Christy called right away. She was there. I looked the next morning. She was right there on the ball. So
I just want to say, as a native Texan, I've received hundreds of messages. I told you that the other day, but I want to tell our representatives that are here in the crowd today, thank you for your response. This is Texas Strong. President Trump, this is America First policy in terms to responding to a tragedy like this. Thank you on behalf of Texas as well.
Thank you very much. Well, that's a nice reporter. That's a nice question. That's a nice, but I like his statement even better. Thank you very much, Brian. That's very nice. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Great to see you, President Trump.
Thank you.
Thank you, First Lady Melania, for being here. I'm born and raised in Texas, and there's not a person in our state who hasn't been impacted by this tragedy. But what's been so disheartening recently are these ghouls on the left, like Jasmine Crockett, and the left-wing media who want to point fingers and play partisan games and fundraise off of this crisis. And what I love about Texas is we come together in a crisis across party lines, ideological lines. So what is your message, and maybe Governor Abbott as well, to these folks on the left who are using this to gain partisan points in viral videos?
Well, I'll start off by just saying, you know, they've lost their confidence. They've had a tremendous run of bad talent. I don't say bad luck, I say bad talent. And all they want to do is criticize. And I hope we can someday be bipartisan, but all they like to do is criticize. And they're getting just absolutely clobbered because everyone sees what an incredible job the governor did. Everybody in this room, everybody at this table in particular, but everybody in this room did an incredible job. And the public knows it. You know, the public's wise to it. They have their sound bite. They send out a sound bite, and it's supposed to be, you're supposed to say that. And if you don't say that, they throw you out of the party. No, they've lost, honestly, they've lost their confidence. I see some of the people they're putting forward, and those people will only ruin our nation. Our nation, a year ago, was dead. And it was going down, but it was dead. And now we have the most successful nation anywhere in the world. You take a look. I was with the King of Saudi Arabia. I was with the leaders of the world recently at NATO. Every one of them said the same thing. They said, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Your nation was dead 1 year ago. And now you have the hottest nation. It's the hottest nation, hottest in quotes. It's the hottest nation anywhere in the world. Every leader is saying that we're the hottest nation in the world. We've all gotten together. We've done a great job. This state has been unbelievable. I work so well with the governor and with your senators and with everybody in this state. We get it done. We've had some pretty big problems here with the floods and all the different things that we've worked out, and we respond very quickly, and they respond very quickly, and they spend their money wisely. We give them a lot of money, but they spend it wisely. I can't say that's true always. Sometimes we give money and they don't spend it so wisely. They spend it very, very foolishly. So, Governor, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. One thing that you pointed out that we all know about Texans is part of our bloodstream, and that is we're Texas tough. We're made for challenges. I read a piece the other day. I'll just quote one line from, and that is, when the rivers rise, so do we, and we rise to the occasion. And the way that we do that is by everybody working together. We are one team united. We are Texans, and fighting as Texans, we're going to rebuild not just Kerrville or Hunt or Kerr County, but across the entire state, across regions. We're going to come together and fight together and ensure that we elevate even better, keeping foremost in mind exactly what Dr. Phil was talking about. As we rebuild, we've got to constantly comfort the families of those who have suffered a loss. Those two things combined, and we will be our quintessential selves, and that is Texas tough, Texas resilient.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. President, first of all,
the blue shirt.
Thank you for
right over here. Go ahead.
I'll wait for Chip. He's my representative. I'll wait for him.
Mr. President, if I could just jump in and just say one thing, which is I can't thank you enough. When I called you on Friday, you said whatever you need. When I called the secretary's office, she called me within 15 minutes and said whatever you need, and then she came here this weekend. I've never seen such a quick response and such a focus on delivering for the people. But importantly, I want to thank all of my colleagues in the House sitting right over there. Every single one of them called me personally. Every single one of them reached out to this team that the governor was just talking about, the team effort to deliver for the people of Texas. They're here now, not here to microphone. They're here just to be here because they believe in this state and they believe in what you're doing as the president and they believe in what the governor's doing. And importantly, this morning, I was at a press conference for the Community Foundation of the Hill Country, which has raised over $30 million from the great, people of this state and from around the country. And they sent checks out today of $5 million to people in this community to help them with cash for people, for small businesses, first responders, and all the people that need help to reunite. And the final point I'll just say, for all of the media clamoring to ask that ridiculous first question and try to point fingers, the governor said it best when he said that pointing fingers is for losers. This state is about looking forward, and we'll figure out how to make our systems the best they can be. But importantly, when you see 26 feet of water rising a foot per minute, don't go around pointing fingers. The people in this community rallied around to help people, and that's the enduring image. Those little girls from Camp Mystic who were singing hymns as they watched the damage as they left that camp coming out of there. And that's who the people of Texas are. And I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. And, 2 words, unity and competence. If you were to ask me 2 words that I've seen here, one is unity. The unity has been unbelievable. And then the competence of the Coast Guard and some of the people within the Coast Guard that saved a lot of lives. They went out and they saved a lot of lives. But there were others other than the Coast Guard. But I would say competence and unity, the way everyone has just pulled together. It's rare that you see this.
Mr. President. Again,
I've been to so many, and I've seen bickering and fighting, and just it doesn't work the same way. This has been amazing. This is the biggest because I've never seen one like this. Neither has anybody else, by the way. Yes, please.
Hey, it's
Yes.
Joe Pags, Mr. President. It's been a while since we've seen each other. Obviously, the staffing was where it needed to be. In fact, it was heavier than it should have been because of the holiday weekend. Whatever they're saying in the left news isn't the truth. You're a developer, though. At 1 o'clock in the morning, the technology only goes as far as it goes. Kids don't have their phones. Phones are dead. People by the riverside don't have electricity. They're not going to get a phone alert that way. As a developer, going forward, knowing that everything was done lightning fast by Secretary Noem, by you, by the governor, and everybody else, you did everything right. What do we do next time, though, to make sure that people are alerted if they're dead asleep? Maybe an alarm system, maybe a siren system. You might know better than I. But what do we do going forward? Because we've got to make sure that people get the alert when it's time to get the alert. Thank you.
Yeah, you'll probably have to do that. You'll probably come up with something very unique because there is no system right now. There's been a thing like this has never happened that anybody knows. Certainly not to this extent, but I know the governor and everybody is working on it. They're meeting, and they'll figure something out. Go ahead, Governor.
Yeah, so we begin a session in 10 days. We will address every single question that you just asked. You mentioned some of the ideas. There are many more. And we want to hear, most importantly, we have to devise a response that's right for this community. And this community has to weigh in, and they need time to be able to convey that to us. But we're gonna work on alerts. We're gonna work on every single solution to make sure things like this don't happen again, not just in this community, but in other river basins across the state also. So we will work to get it right, and we've jotted down, Joe, every idea that you just mentioned.
Ted Cruz, go ahead, please, Ted.
Well, Mr. President, I want to say thank you for being here. First Lady, thank you for being here. Where we are right now, the Hill Country, is a very special part of the state. It is universally considered the most beautiful part of the state. You've got rolling hills. You've got these incredible, peaceful, wonderful rivers. The Guadalupe River, just about all of us have been swimming in that river, floating in that river. And one of the things that's really special about Kirk County is there are 40 summer camps here. This is a place where all across Texas our kids go. The governor's daughter came every year to camp here. Both of you know our girls really well. Mm-hmm. Heidi, the week before this flood, was here in Hunt picking up our daughter Catherine from camp. And Camp Mystic, that faced such devastating loss, is an institution in this state. It's 100 years old. Was founded in 1926, and I'll tell you, in Texas, it's not just here that the hurt is felt. It's every part of the state: Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, West Texas, East Texas. Texans have gone, and what's amazing is you see at the closing ceremonies of these camps, you see multiple generations. You'll see grandmothers and moms and little girls who have all gone to the same camp. And the pain that the state is feeling. And on Monday, I went and walked through Camp Mystic. In the center of the camp is a cabin called the Bubble Inn, where the littlest girls were staying. And in front of the Bubble Inn are, right now, 17 small white crosses in the ground. And each cross has the name of another little girl who lost her life. And the final cross has the name of Dick Eastland, the camp director who gave his life trying to save his girls. And the water rose in that camp and in that cabin 8 feet high. You can see the water line 8 feet high. It blew the windows out of the cabin and it swept those girls out. I will tell you, I've never seen anything more horrible in my life, and I just sat there crying. I saw Mom and Dad come up to one of those crosses, drop to their knees and kiss that cross. And the mom was weeping. I also want to tell you, and you said this, you talked about unity. The way this community, the way the state is coming together is incredible. There are stories of heroism. I met a mom and dad who had a 14-year-old boy at Camp La Junta, a boys' camp. Their 14-year-old son was awakened at 3 in the morning. The water was rising. The counselor said, "Let's go save the little boys." And they went down to the 7, 8, 9-year-old boys and pulled them out of their camps through the crashing water. And this mom and dad were crying. Now their son survived. And I said, look, your son will always have this trauma. You will always have this trauma. But at the same time, your son will always know when he was 14 years old that there are little boys and one day there are men who are alive because he had the courage as a 14-year-old to risk his life to save them. And so we are grateful you're here, and I will say something Chip referenced is very true. There's a video of a school bus full of campers from Mystic after this crisis, riding past the devastation, and they are singing Christian hymns. And I promise you there's not a person here who can watch that video and not weep. Tears of sorrow, but also tears of joy. So we are grateful for the response, Governor, the first responders, everyone who's come together, and to all the moms and dads, just know we love you. The agony, my street at home, every house has a green ribbon around it for the girls at Mystic. And that's true in a lot of streets all throughout Texas. And we will come through this one way or the other. I'll tell you, the Hunt store right now, the sign says Hunt store, except today it doesn't. It says Hunt Strong. They redid the sign. That's the spirit of who we are.
Thank you, Ted, very
Mr.
much.
President?
Well, yes, please.
I wanted to respond just to something that Joe Pag said and the governor. The speaker and I announced yesterday that we will begin our hearings in 2 weeks, but in 3 weeks, we're going to have a hearing in this room so that the residents and the people in this area don't have to come to Austin. We're going to come to them, and we'll stay here as long as it takes to hear their stories and their needs and their wants. So we're going to be here in 3 weeks in this room.
Good,
to hear
Dan.
from them.
Very good. Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming together, and the word unity again, but I just want to thank you very much. And we'll be helping you from Washington, D.C., like no other president would do. Nobody else would do it. Nobody else would be even get back to you. You know, you're fully funded, as you know. And Christy, I would say they were fully funded within minutes of hearing about this. And, you know, the state of Texas, number one, they do it right, and they've done it right for a long time. And it's, you know, a very special place to me, I will tell you that. Politically, I don't want to say politics, but politically it's been a very special place to me. Our great Secretary of Agriculture, who you've done such a great job, Brooke Rollins, you come from Texas, and I just want to thank you. She even got the cost of eggs right down, you know. They hit me with that one, and she got them down so quickly nobody knew what. By Easter, everybody was having eggs at a lower price than they ever thought possible. But you've done a fantastic job. But it's just been it's been a very special state to me, and it's my honor. And we will continue to work together, and well, it's a bad situation, and you can never say, oh, it's going to be bigger, better, stronger. You know, it's just so many lives have been lost. You can't say that, but we're going to make it. We're going to make it back. We're going to make it back, and we're going to make it good again. And everybody wants to do it. And I just want to thank you, and I want to congratulate you. You guys have been unbelievable. Thank you for your words before. It was unbelievable. The job you've done, Kim, everybody, every single one of you. So you should be very proud, and we're very proud of you. Thank you all very much for doing such a good job. Thank you very much.
President Donald Trump wrapping up the roundtable there in Kerrville at the Hill County Youth Event Center. And we heard a lot of good stuff from the President and First Lady Melania.
I'd agree with you. Right out of the President's mouth, you know, never seen anything like it. And I completely agree. I don't.
A little river became a monster, you know.
And they were, in fact, talking to the parents who had lost loved ones before this, as we talked about, probably consoling the grieving, and that's exactly what they were doing.
And you felt like in that moment, First Lady Melania was mothering these mothers who lost their children.
So why is it, and gosh, I don't want to be sexist or whatever it would be called, mothers are better than fathers when it comes to this kind of thing. I mean, President Trump was great, but she spoke for 30 seconds and I was riveted. She gave birth to children, and I thought that was fantastic. She's just a loving, I don't know, there's something about a mom being able to talk to other mothers.
And she is a mother.
Yes.
So she understands carrying life and then giving birth to that life and raising it. She is a mother, and she could connect with those mothers on another level of empathy. And she talked about hugging them and praying with them and how they accepted her and gave her the bracelet with the names of the victims. It was a good, it was an emotional moment, you know. And then Mr. President said, God has welcomed these beautiful little girls into his loving arms in heaven. That's one of those quotes I'm going to remember from
As we grieve, we take comfort that they are with God. Wrote that down. Precious children looked at pictures. He looked at pictures of the children.
Right, so he looked at almost all of the children. There was a lot of talk about the Hill County store. This store has been there 80 years.
The Hunt?
The Hunt County store, thank you, Hunt County store. It's been there 80, or the Hunt Country store.
Right.
We'll get there in a minute. The Hunt Country store, been there 80 years, right? It is like the center of that town. Everything happens at that store. Kiki Friedman, the late Kiki Friedman, performed there, and many others. It was the epicenter of this community of about 1,300 people.
You get gas, food, you get everything you need right there.
The city business played out right there, you know. That's where the city leaders came. Everything happened there. It was the center really of that community. And of course, we heard the previous owner say, with the current owners, we vowed to rebuild it. And then the governor saying, we will rebuild the country store.
Oddly, and it surprised me, I wasn't sure about Dr. Phil. And he said some very helpful things. I think that we can all kind of take away from this.
Absolutely.
Just from my perspective, as one who is grieving with all of Texas and the world, but he said, always say something.
Say something.
Always say something.
Right.
And that was good. That's a good takeaway for all of us.
Let them know that you haven't forgotten about them, that you love them, you care for them, you're thinking of them. That was a good nugget for us.
Always say something.
Yeah.
To someone grieving, they never get tired of hearing about how you thought well of their loved one or remember them every day. Always say something.
And we learned some things in this roundtable that we didn't know about the event. Dr. Phil, again, sharing the story about a man standing on the banks telling this woman, throw me your baby, throw me your baby. Whoa.
And the other thing we commented on was the older boys going down and
at Camp La
finding
Junta,
some young,
going down to the young
boys, the younger boys. I hadn't heard that.
We hadn't heard that story. As well as the story Senator Cruz was telling us about what happened in that one camp, that one dorm where those young girls were. So what a week, what a day, but really what a powerful roundtable. All right, we're gonna take a breath, breathe for a minute, and then we'll be right back. Stay with us.
hello and welcome back to our streaming coverage of Fox 4's coverage of the president's visit to Texas.
Yes.
And the interplay he had with the roundtable group of all the kind of agencies involved in recovery and resiliency and mourning as well. So we want to show you a bit of that. If you've missed it or you want to see it again, we've got some of the president addressing this group. And this is, I guess we didn't see this. This must have been the rescuers, right?
We might not have seen it earlier. You're right. There's Scott Ruskin right there,
Yeah.
I believe, along with the other Coast Guard rescuers.
Rescue swimmers, yes indeed.
And we didn't see that video earlier.
All right, let's listen. We've got some interviews from this. Let's hear it.
We just were making a little tour of the area. It's hard to believe the devastation. Trees that are 100 years old just ripped out of the ground. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of bad ones. I've gone to a lot of hurricanes, a lot of tornadoes. I've never seen anything like this. This is a bad one. We just visited with incredible families that, I mean, look, they've been devastated. They lost their child or two children, and just hard to believe what, I've never seen anything like it. A little narrow river that becomes a monster, and that's what happened. But the First Lady and I are here in Texas to express the love and support and the anguish of our entire nation in the aftermath of this really horrific and deadly flood. Nobody has any idea how and why a thing like this could happen. It's, and by the way, I have to tell you, the people here, first responders, the sheriff's office, all of the police, law enforcement, they've done an unbelievable job. And in speaking to the parents, they said everybody has been so professional, from the governor to the senators, all the way down to the local people on the site that really are a little bit used to this. But they've been looking at this for years, but in much smaller doses, much, much smaller doses. 12 years ago, and then in 1932, they had a real bad one, but that bad one was half of what this was. But I was speaking to some of the great people in the town, and they said, no, every year we get a little bit, but it was like a little bit of a flood, right? You were telling me, and it was just a flood. We got used to it. We had people, and we took care of it, and this year it was like, what's going on, right? So all across the country, Americans' hearts are shattered. I had to be here as president. First Lady wanted to be here. And, all the beautiful souls, and we're filled with grief and devastation. The loss of life. And unfortunately, they're still looking. They're still looking. There's a lot of missing children, possibly, mostly, we don't know. But they're still looking. And they'll find everybody, but it's not an easy thing. You would think it would be easy. It's very tough. I looked at what they're going through, what they have to do. But dozens and dozens of precious children taken from us with such, I looked at the pictures of almost all of them, and it's terrible. Following a torrential downpour, the worst that anyone's ever seen, Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in less than 45 minutes, and I've even heard it went well over 30 feet. There's one story that one person said it had to be 60 feet at one moment. This is like a giant, giant wave in the Pacific Ocean that the best surfers in the world would be afraid to surf. And it unleashed a catastrophic flooding as most residents were asleep in their beds. A very dark evening. The waters claimed at least 135, 140 lives. They're getting that count, but the count that they don't have is how many are still missing. But a lot of lives, a lot of young angels. At the Girls Christian Summer Camp, known as Camp Mystic, a legendary camp, a camp that people would want to go to from all over the country. People, parents, they come and they would stay with their children. They'd stay in other cabins just to be with their children, but a legendary place. They were there because they loved God, and as we grieve this unthinkable tragedy, We take comfort in the knowledge that God has welcomed those little, beautiful girls into his comforting arms in heaven. And we believe that, have to believe that, and we do. And we lost some wonderful people beyond the little girls. We lost some very brave men and women that tried to save the girls. As our nation, we mourn for every single life that was swept away in the flood, and we pray for the families that are left behind. It's amazing the incredible spirit from those families. I don't know. I don't even know how they do it. But moments ago, Melania and I spent a lot of time with them. That's why we're a little late. I think this was a good reason to be late, frankly. And we just gave our warmest condolences. But you say to yourself, you know, how do you give condolences? How do you do that to a young person that 3 days ago was here, 4 days ago was here and vibrant, and now is no longer here? The search for the missing continues. The people that are doing it are unbelievable people. That you couldn't get better people than this anywhere, Christy, right? Anywhere in the world, you couldn't get better people. And they're doing the job like I don't think anybody else could, frankly. And I want to thank them. I want to thank all of these great first responders who raced into very grave danger. We have some people that were incredible. The single Coast Guard rescue crew saved an incredible 169 children at Camp Mystic, 169. And the camp staff was also incredibly courageous. Are those Coast Guard people around here someplace? Because I hear some incredible people. And I actually, Scott Ruskin, is he around? Where's Scott?
He's not here right now, sir, but he will be here later, and I will be
okay. Will you let him know?
With some,
and John Dunn, the owner of the Hunt store, was a flood. Where are you? Okay, good. We spoke a little while ago, and it sort of, John was telling me some stories about that store, and it was just really amazing.
Yes, Mr. President. First, let me correct. I was owner of the Hunt store from 2013 till April of last year, where I actually sold the store to Haley and BB Lehrman, who are excellent operators, and they're on the ground right now in Hunt, leading the effort there together with the fire department, the churches, the schools, what have you. And they're doing a phenomenal job.
Good job.
My role in it is I had seller finance the deal. And
you're going to bring it back?
I'm absolutely going to bring it back.
And the walls are up, the two walls are up, and you're going to...
There's belief out there that it was a total loss. It's not. A gentleman by the name of Larry Graham put up some incredible walls in 1973. And he's a great engineer, and those walls are still standing.
Save the walls.
Save the walls.
Okay.
And the goal is, and I think we can get it done between Haley, BB, myself, and some outside help that we're going to be getting. I think we're going to get it reopened very quickly.
Good.
I think it's important to get it open quickly because once we do, the community can get back to a sense of normalcy. I think it'll be good for the community. I think it'll accelerate the recovery process. There's a lot that has to be done, but I'm impressed and very pleased with the resources that I think are going to become available through the conversations with Chip Roy, Governor Abbott's office, and others, that we will get it done quickly. Yes, sir.
Thanks, John. Good luck with it. Okay, I'm sure you will. The search for the missing is continuing, as you know, and today I especially want to thank all of these incredible people from the Coast Guard, and you'll give my regards in particular to some of the people we mentioned. Every American should be inspired by what's taken place during this short period of time, and I want to thank Governor Abbott. He's an amazing guy. We come very, very close politically and personally, and we've had a tremendous relationship with Texas. I guess Texas brought us together. We were together fine, but now we're together a lot more, and I want to thank Cecilia, your great wife, who's been our friend for a long time. The job you do is really incredible in so many different ways, including with the border and every different way. Admired by everybody. Secretaries, Christino, Brooke Rollins, Scott Turner, and Administrator Kelly Loeffler, they all wanted to be here. Some of them hopped on the plane with me. Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, you're here among us. And thank you very much. Our great Lieutenant Governor, I see you sitting there. I don't know if they even have your name down, but when I'm here, your name is down, right? He's doing a good job, always did. Always did. Also, numerous members of Congress, including Chip Roy from the district. This is Chip's district. I had a lot of time last week we spent with Chip Roy getting that great, big, beautiful bill passed. And who would have thought, and he's not easy, but he's good. Where is he? Where's Chip? Who would have thought this was going to happen? And he called because we had a big ceremony set up, and he said, you know, we have a little bit of a flood here, and I think it's going to be a little bit, I better stay here. I better not come back and go to it. And he wanted to be there. He was a part of it, a big part of it. And then he called again, and he said, this is bad. And then it got really bad, far beyond your worst, wildest imagination, right?
President Donald Trump, one of his first statements, he said, I and the First Lady are here to express the love and support of the nation.
And anguish.
And anguish.
Of the nation.
To you.
Yeah.
And that anguish was a very descriptive word.
Yes. Two little footnotes. Thought it was interesting that he said to the Lieutenant Governor, your name's not even on here. Just, might not mean anything.
He ended up getting to it. It was on there. I don't know if that was a poke or he knows there's a little animosity.
And he acknowledged Senator Cornyn, but he didn't get a chance to speak.
Yeah. We'll be back. All right, we thank you for watching this stream on the Fox Local app and also on our website, fox4news.com. Listening to the President and the First Lady and all the dignitaries offer their condolences and thoughts.
1 week now since the Texas flood disaster began reporting on this last Friday, and here we are now, the President coming to Central Texas, the Hill Country.
I think we talked about the motive was to help people start healing, and I think it was it was the first step toward that.
It was exactly what it needed to be.
It was.
For the people, not only in the Hill Country, but across our state.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed.
Right.
We want to leave you at this hour with the images of those young girls from Camp Mystic that we showed you earlier in this broadcast. We want to leave you with that. And as we do, stay with us for Fox 4 News at 4.